Hi, everybody. The coolest air of the season is settling in, but this Canadian cool down will be relatively short. Sunshine today, but a cooler day, breezy, high 74. Clear, colder tonight, overnight low in the mid-40s by tomorrow morning. Wednesday, highs only in the 60s. I've got us around 67 Wednesday, 69 on Thursday with more sun. The coldest morning will be Thursday morning. We'll be getting close to the 40-degree mark, and then look for a weekend rebound. I think the high temperature by Saturday and Sunday will be getting close to 80 and still dry. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors & More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors & More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
1819 News.
Alabama Secretary of State Wes Allen does not agree with a recent decision coming from the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals when it comes to a state ballot harvesting law. The appeals court has denied Alabama's request for the removal of a partial injunction on how the state will implement this new ballot harvesting law. Secretary Allen says that the lawsuit brought about the partial injunction by misrepresenting the intent of the Voting Rights Act when it comes to the disabled and filling out of absentee ballots. Allen maintains that the Voting Rights Act was intended to protect the disabled who are finding a trustworthy person to help them fill out their ballot and does not permit for paid political activists to go door-to-door canvassing and putting undue influence on voters to allow that entity to fill out their ballot. Secretary Allen says that Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall will continue to fight this lawsuit through the appeals process. Several neighboring southern states have also joined Alabama by filing an amicus brief about the case in support of Alabama's efforts to set parameters on what absentee voting should look like. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Covenant Rescue Group seeks to directly support organizations and agencies that are fighting the global battle against human trafficking. They do this through funding, procuring, and advocating. You can go to covenantrescue.org for further details. They need your donations, guys. Hop on and donate.
The Huntsville Police Department has promoted almost a dozen officers to new ranks. 11 officers took part in a ceremony held this past Monday that recognized their promotions. Mayor Tommy Battle was in attendance, as well as the Huntsville Police Chief, Kirk Giles. And the city of Tuscaloosa has officially reopened Snow Hinton Park after upgrades have now been completed. The park has been closed for over a year, with $12 million being used to renovate restrooms, parking, pavilions, and providing safety, lighting, and cameras. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For many years, my team and I have worked diligently to provide our veterans with top-notch service, as it is our honor to serve those who have served us in the armed forces. Madeline and I are certified veteran lending specialists. Nationwide, there are over 22 million veterans that qualify to purchase a home through the VA loan program. Yet less than 2 million of them currently have a VA home loan. Many lenders do not keep up with the ever-changing guidelines and benefits of the VA loan program. They are intimidated by the program, resulting in many veterans not obtaining VA loans. This is unacceptable. The VA home loan program offers service members and veterans with 100% financing. You've already paid your down payment. If you are currently serving or have honorably discharged, we would love an opportunity to discuss how the VA program can serve you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Thank you for your service. NMLS 1586-36A, Equal Housing Lender.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
In politics, man must learn to rise above principles.
Fugazi, you know what Fugazi is?
Fugazi, it's a fake.
Yeah, Fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust. It doesn't exist. It's never landed. It is no matter. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not real.
Right.
This
is how you conduct yourself in a democracy.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. Man,
We were just talking off air with the guys here in the studio. A little more than 20 days out, 3 weeks out, and the lion is just getting ridiculous. We'll get to that and the propaganda wars in a little while. But as is tradition here on Tuesdays, let's kick off the show with the one, the only Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, how are you today, sir?
I'm well, Joey. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing very well, though. I think trying to keep track of this presidential election, I'm going a little insane, having to cover what everybody's saying about everybody else.
Gets this way, towards the end. It probably will get a lot worse in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm preparing myself. I have ways of unwinding, I suppose. Now, I want to begin with where you've been really covering on your show, Judging Freedom. First, I want to talk about the lesser talked about war right now. What's the latest, at least from what your folks are telling you, when it comes to Russia and Ukraine?
Well, the latest that my folks are telling me is that Ukraine is hanging on by its fingernails because the Biden administration does not want the perception of a collapse before November 5th. There'll be another massive foreign policy catastrophe in Joe Biden's lap. Don't forget, we've spent over $260 billion with a B dollars on this mess. The invasion by the Ukrainian forces into Kursk has become a catastrophe. They are gradually being starved to death because they're completely surrounded by Russian troops. The main Russian military continues to move westward slowly but methodically and effectively unimpeded. President Zelensky met over the weekend with Chancellor Scholz of Germany, and they pledged to support each other, but Germany doesn't have any equipment to send to Russia to Ukraine of any significance. So that was kind of just a PR stunt. So things look terrible for the Ukrainians. Their death toll is up to 600,000.
Yeah, that is absolutely miserable, and it does seem like it's PR stunt after PR stunt as more people die, and it seems like whether Harris gets in there or Trump gets in there, this is really a lost war at this point.
It clearly is a lost war. But let's just say Harris wins. I don't know that she'll get the support from the Congress that Joe Biden got. And if Trump wins, I don't think he's going to ask the Congress for the support that Joe Biden got. He's just going to wash his hands of it and try and do something to save some face for the remainder of Ukraine. The Russian military is as strong and powerful as ever. And Ukraine, with its NATO partners, are unable to stop it.
Now, moving to the Middle East, it seems whether Biden or Harris gets in there, the full support and backing of Israel remains in the cards, especially as we talked about when you look on the support on Capitol Hill and in so many other ways. When it doesn't seem like the United States is on an inevitable path to war with Iran because of this?
I don't know the answer to that. I would like to think that at some point the American government would just say no to the Israelis. I really think Prime Minister Netanyahu is not thinking clearly and being generous and charitable in the words that I otherwise use to describe him. His willingness to kill innocents and his willingness to fight 4 or 5 or 6 wars at once, using a military that is effectively depleted already, that couldn't fight a ragtag group of Hamas leaders and soldiers and killers and defeat Hamas, makes you wonder if he's all there mentally. I don't think he is foolish enough to attack Iran without the U.S. support, and I don't think Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or Donald Trump sense a taste in the American public for American involvement in the war. Nevertheless, Joe Biden has sent some anti-missile equipment called THAAD, T-H-A-A-D, built in 1992. Can only be operated by Americans, and he sent 100 troops. The 100 troops are there, and the THAAD equipment is there. This stuff and the troops are on their way before the government announced that they were going there. Why are 100 American troops there? Are they a tripwire? So that when some of them come home in body bags, the U.S. government has an excuse to ramp up the war against Iran. Are they there to deter Iran from destroying the anti-aircraft equipment that these troops will be operating? Well, that's not going to work. So it's a bit of a head scratcher to me as to where the United States government stands right now. But there is no appetite. You can put your finger on the pulse as well as I in the American public for a war against Iran. Lindsey Graham and John Bolton and Tom Cotton and Josh Hawley notwithstanding.
And, one of your guests, I think it's retired Colonel Tony Schaefer, he speculated, I mean, who knows, but he speculated that some of the hesitancy with, say, the smart people in the government with attacking Iran, especially their nuclear facilities, is they might already have nukes.
There is a strong belief among most of my people, all of whom are either ex-military, ex-intelligence, or academics, or some combination thereof, that Iran does have nuclear capabilities, and if it does, the Israelis know that. John Bolton wants the United States military to attack the Iranian nuclear capabilities. Senator Graham wants the United States military to attack the Iranian oil refineries. Each or either of those attacks would result in a massive expansion of that war. Iran is now allied with Russia. No way is Russia going to allow Israel or Israel plus the United States or Israel plus anybody to attack Iran substantially and materially.
And again, it would be nice if, say, something like an election could clarify United States positions on this, but I don't think we're going to get any of that sort of clarity. I think it's going to become more and more opaque the closer we get to Election Day.
Well, on Israel, Harris and Trump are Tweedledee and Tweedledum. They will give Israel whatever it wants for whatever reason, none of which has to do with American national security. Iran does not pose one iota of threat to the United States. On the contrary, the new president of Iran has begged for a removal of the sanctions and a resumption of trade between Iran and the United States. They have oil, and we have a lot of stuff that they want, and nothing's going back and forth right now due to ancient disputes that most people couldn't even articulate.
Now, shifting gears here a little bit, I kind of want to connect the dots because, we have all sorts of different listeners, and I guess at this moment, speaking to people that might disagree with you or your colleagues on, say, American foreign policy, but they are very much have wide open ears when you talk about American civil liberties and our natural liberties, and especially spying and surveillance. And I would suggest to folks, the two are tied together. When you look at the blobs activity, as Mike Benz has been calling them, so much of our censorship at home and the infiltration into our privacy, the hacking here at home, is due to these concerns of fighting things abroad. And you wrote about, I have not read this anywhere else, not the Patriot Act, but a different way the government has been getting into the back door to people's private information, the Stored Communications Act of 1986. And this actually created a very high-profile case that's gone under the radar in terms of the media.
Sounds innocent and ancient, a Reagan-era law, but it allows the federal, well, first of all, the statute itself, when Congress wrote it, Congress and the Reagan administration, in fact, President Reagan himself, boasted that it would prevent the people that store our digital communications, whether our mobile devices or desktops or old-fashioned landline telephone, from sharing that with anybody, and it would make it a crime for anybody to hack into it, unless the recipient of the shared information or the hackers are employees of the federal government, then they can get away with it. The statute also permits federal judges to allow the feds to have access to the stored data based on a judicial order that does not require probable cause of crime. So it's another way around the Fourth Amendment. Now, this has been going on since 1986. The reason I wrote about it last week and the reason it made some newspapers and websites is because Jack Smith, the special counsel pursuing Donald Trump in the Mar-a-Lago case and the January 6th case, used this statute, lawful but unconstitutional, used this statute to serve an order. It's not a search warrant, but it's an order for production of documents on X, formerly known as Twitter, for the contents of Donald Trump's Twitter account made by him when he was president of the United States. And accompanying that order was another order from the same judge saying, you can't tell anybody about this. So X complied with the order, but filed an application before the judge who issued the order to get rid of this thou shalt not tell part. It's a violation of the First Amendment, which says Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech. This is commanding silence. The judge who issued the order rejected Elon Musk's application. They appealed it to the United States Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit. They rejected it. They appealed it to the Supreme Court of the United States, which last week refused to hear the case. So here you have the former president of the United States of America not told that communications he made from the Oval Office while he was president had been seized by the federal government. No opportunity to claim executive privilege, no opportunity to claim any privilege, and the Supreme Court doesn't want to hear it. That's where we are, my dear friend. I was angry about it. And, you know, this, you could use this. We use this line a lot during the Mueller investigations. If they can do this to Donald Trump, they can do it to anybody. This is literally true. And that's where we are today.
Yeah, and then all the noise about Iranian assassination plots and the Chinese around Taiwan and the Chinese and Russians interfering in our election. It just comes across to me as a pretext for getting their tentacles more into American liberties and privacy.
It's a pretext to get our eyes off the ball of what the federal government itself is doing and getting away with. A Republican Congress and a Republican president passed this monstrosity, and none of us really knew what was going on with it until the Elon Musk appeal. By the way, this involved three very well-known people: Jack Smith, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump. Did you see this on the front page of any newspaper?
No. But you should. But I'll just tell folks, I think Americans are very trusting people. At least Americans were a very trusting people. And when it's hard to believe anything when you get closer to Election Day, my approach at least is to watch and read and listen far and wide. And one of my stops when I watch and read and listen far and wide is always Judging Freedom. And I encourage folks to check it out. Who's coming up on the show this week?
Ambassador Charles Freeman, Max Blumenthal, Professor Gilbert Dr. O, Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson, Colonel Douglas McGregor, all my usual high-end, high-profile, today very controversial guests, mainly on Israel, because we are so close to a war with Iran, and if a war with Iran breaks out, we will be so close to the use of nuclear weapons.
Well, I appreciate your time as always, and God bless. We'll do it again next week.
Oh, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you and your listeners and viewers. Thank you, Joey. All the best.
Thank you, Judge. Again, folks, that's Judge Andrew Napolitano. Always appreciate his time, really do. And it's been great to see, you know, after he's done at Fox. I meet him after that at that event, and to see, you know, we were having him on the show, and then he started this online thing, and it's now blown up to millions of people watching his show on YouTube, which is a very, it's very cool to see people find success. Also, the guy we're going to try to bring on later this month, Peter St. Onge. You know, I've known him for a while, and to see him now have millions and millions of people watching his content is amazing. And I love seeing my friends find success.
Yeah, I wanted to be in the studio. If we can schedule his schedule around mine, that'd be great. Tuesday and Thursday, but if not, I may have to bump someone else to come in and participate on that.
That's the voice of Byron Sheehy, and Eddie Bader's here today. And Byron, you seem to be in a good mood. I don't know about Eddie.
Shut up, Joey.
You okay?
Shut up, Joey. Let's just do this. Come on.
You see the energy, folks?
It's another day, man.
It's just another Tuesday. It's Tuesday, right? Yeah, it's just another Tuesday in my world, baby.
As you know.
Always be closing.
Right.
Always be closing.
We got one set up for Friday. Let's just pray.
Why are you dilly-dallying, man?
Lawyers, man.
Lawyers.
Yeah. Bill Shakespeare. Oh, Billy.
So, moving forward, here's some of the top stories hitting the news today. Trust in media hits an all-time low. Oh, that's shocking, right? Seriously, I think Americans used to be a trusting people. I think some Americans are still a very trusting people.
I think we used to have a media that had integrity.
Yeah, to a degree. Though I think it's because that media had I'm not talking to an individual journalist. I've heard plenty of stories where you did not tell so-and-so what to put on his program. He wouldn't have that. I think there were a lot of people of integrity. But I think the old news had a sort of security to where those sorts of people could pop up. These days, good luck getting people to trust you.
Mm-hmm.
Really, good luck. And this shift to a distrusting America, I don't think it's great. I think it's good when people start, being suspicious of things they should be suspicious of. But in general, if nobody believes what they're seeing or hearing, that's not a good thing for our society by any means.
Was it Reagan that said trust but verify?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Word to live by.
Especially with the media.
Oh, and they, CBS caught in a Face the Nation interview. They were caught, or as Trump calls it, deface the nation. They were caught editing another answer. Now, this time from Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson.
Yeah.
Pretty remarkable.
They didn't cast him in such a positive light as they tried with Kamala, I'm sure.
No, they made him look like an idiot when he actually had a pretty full answer. Now, Mike Johnson seems like a guy who I really liked him for years up there. And you watch these committee hearings, you're like, I like that guy, sharp guy. And then as soon as he becomes speaker, I'm like, did they take him back and snip him? Or
I mean, it was like 10 seconds later. His voice changing everything.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Everything.
I think that pretty much happens to most of the speakers.
Yeah. No, they do something to him to get him to oh, wow. It's interesting.
I often wonder what our government would look like if we weren't just a two-party system, but then I realize all the concessions that speaker has to make in order to hold the gavel, I'm not so sure it's functional.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. But trusted media being at a new low, again, not shocking.
Right.
You now have a New York Times excuse-making tour for Kamala Harris, but CNN is actually backing up conservative activist Chris Rufo. He did some investigating, and, Kamala, a few years back, wrote a book about, crime and prosecuting crime.
Yeah.
And he said, there are a lot of passages that are just lifted from, Wikipedia and other sources. Plagiarism.
That would just
plagiarism.
shock me.
We learned that in freshman year of college.
Right.
If you're going to lift something, don't pull it from Wikipedia.
Yeah, don't do
that.
that.
Was by Wikipedia?
The Wikipedia is best if it's a non-political thing. Like it's some esoteric thing about science or history or whatever. It's a good starting point. Click the references, then start doing your own.
Yeah.
Don't just copy. Goodness gracious. If you want to hyperlink something, a quick definition for people, Wikipedia is great for the most part. But dadgum. That's amazing. And the excuse making is remarkable. But even CNN, who seems to be trying to go for okay, we're trying to be a little more serious now.
Yeah.
We're sorry about that guy who was, choking his chicken during COVID. But we're sorry about the guy who had no eyebrows at cue ball.
Yeah, what was that all about?
But we're trying to gain back your trust. And I think they're hitting the Harris campaign a little hard. Well, I think they're just being honest.
I was going to say.
This is plagiarism. Now, also in the news, Kamala Harris and her campaign now saying they want to go on Joe Rogan.
Oh.
Yeah, this is after Trump on a recent podcast said, well, I think it's actually happening.
Yeah.
I think I'm going on Rogan.
Can she come on the Save My Parks episode? She'd be really good on there. She'd be really good on that show.
Especially the one where they all took mushrooms.
Yes.
Yeah, she'd fit right in.
Fit right in, man. I'm telling you.
So I think either actually Trump or Harris on there, they need to be careful.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Rogan's got that true FU money.
Oh, yeah.
And he's not going to shy away from asking certain things or pushing his perspective in a certain way. I tend to believe Trump will hold his own just fine.
Yeah.
And do the normal Trump thing. I do wonder how Harris would handle a Rogan interview,
well.
especially given all the stuff Rogan said recently.
No, I don't think it'd go very well. I'd like to see it live, though. I don't want to see it recorded because I trust Rogan, but
he doesn't do any of them live.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I want to see it live, though.
Okay.
I don't want any editing. I don't want anything.
Okay, so most of the episodes that I watch, it's, some science person who's,
like Theo Vaughn?
Yeah, like the social science. I wonder, his technique, I don't really see him as a tough interviewer as far as pushing back in that way. So
no.
I think it would probably be a good
It'd be a good conversation, but I think when Rogan, remember when he had Sanjay Gupta on?
Yes.
After COVID, and they kept saying on CNN, like, you're eating horse dewormer, Rogan's promoting horse dewormer. And Sanjay Gupta is the doctor on TV, while Don Lemon and Chris Coleman, all these folks are saying this. Rogan turned on you got a glimpse of a man. Like Gupta melted in front of him after he tried to talk around, and Rogan's like, "No, listen here."
That's what I do like, though. You're not going to BS him.
Right. So I think if any Trump or Harris starts BSing him, I think he pushes back.
Oh, definitely.
I'll say this though: if it's Trump on Rogan, I think that is like the media event maybe of the decade. Maybe. Like how big the numbers will be. Like you think about the following Trump has, you think about the following Rogan has. Maybe Tucker Carlson's getting close, but I still think Rogan's bigger. Yeah. I think it'll be one for the ages. So just away from the election, away from all the posturing and who's going to win and all this stuff, I think it would just be one of these events that you'll look back and remember for a long time.
I think his questions would probably be light years ahead of some of the other questions
that
any
no
other
doubt.
media has been asking.
Right, no doubt. But he's running out of time. What do we got? 20-something days?
21 days.
Running out of time, man.
It's Tuesday.
We'll see what happens next. Well, for instance, Biden, not a joke. He warned Iran. Killing Trump would be an act of war.
I did see that.
Well, honestly, if you want to make sure Iran doesn't, tell them something like that. But do they believe him is the question. I think if Trump says that,
right,
kill me and it'll be an act of war, I think they kind of listen. Like, I already killed Soleimani. I'll do it again.
Mm-hmm. I think it actually probably gets their attention a little bit more than Trump saying it.
Think so?
I mean, you got your adversary, your opposition party saying it.
Now,
even if they're
not
but
100%, who's the leader of that?
Even if they're not 100% sincere on that threat, it's good posturing.
And then how about this idea? And again, it's just speculation. Who knows? Maybe the intelligence agencies in Israel or United States know, but maybe even MI6 knows, or whatever. What's the UK one? Intelligence agency. Maybe the Five Eyes know. But does Iran already actually have a nuclear capability?
Yeah, they have.
I think that's kind of been determined, or, it's not public, but we've speculated for like the past 6-7 years.
Israel.
And they've built these massive tunnel networks under mountains to where, we've got great, the bunker busters work, but you'd have to use a few of them.
Rise as a god, man. Drop some of those big...
Oh, the tungsten rods. Do you think we actually have that?
I wanted to say we do.
It's pretty nuts to put in orbit. Pretty nuts.
Says it's at its finest. Hey, Elon can do it. He can do anything. We saw that on Sunday.
Yeah, how about that? The catch. And I loved, since we talked about this, Eddie, yesterday, and I guess everybody took the day off. What was it, like Columbus Day or something? Elon put out just images of the rocket coming in and landing, being caught by those arms, by the chopsticks, as they're calling it. And I think Elon captioned it, rockets need hugs too. And it just made it like not only awesome, an amazing feat of humanity. It's like, okay, that's adorable now.
But
I can't unsee the thing asking for a hug now.
I know you really appreciated that because just a couple weeks ago, you were surprised and amazed at the robot arm on the trash truck. So imagine a robot arm now, Joey, that catches a rocket.
I know. I just thought it was cool.
I know. Just every kind of thing a robot can
It's
do.
all happening all at once.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. Oh, did you see the Pentagon's investing heavily in artificial intelligence?
Can they invest in some real intelligence?
Right.
Good point.
No, I feel like we're going to end up like at Team America World Police, where it's bad intelligence. Like, sorry. So there's so much we could go into, but that's sort of what's trending right now. Here locally, what do we have? Oh, yeah. Just to remind folks, that AlDOT problem where Erica Thomas told us on Thursday that, this one bid had to be redone. And it was like that happened at 4 other newspapers for like several other projects, thus delaying 4 projects and costing more money.
Who's going to fall on the sword for this?
I don't think anybody.
Under the rug, baby.
Yeah, I think they'll be like, we need to change the law. Why didn't you change the law 20 years ago?
It's the easiest thing. We have a website. You just announced we have a website. Every bit of business we're going to do is be on that website. You don't have to pay attention to 100 different papers anymore, but you do have to pay attention to our website.
And another thing trending at 1819news.com is Ivy. Governor Ivy, sugar, earns a C on new CPAC governor's report card.
Oh.
That's not a great, it's a passing grade. That's not a great.
She's done no harm.
Well, I would get scorn and derision. Like you were an ultimate failure if I came home with a C.
Different
Is it safe to say that she might have senioritis and just doesn't care about the test anymore?
That could very well be.
I think it's called type 3 diabetes. Sorry. No, senioritis. Excuse me. That was inappropriate. But no, it looks like it's the CPAC graded Ivy 72.5% on its new report card of the nation's governors.
That's a strong C.
What's the governor in Georgia get? You see that? We got
I'm not seeing it immediately. We could click and get deep into the report. Governor DeSantis got 91%.
As he should.
Tennessee Governor Bill Lee, 82.5%.
Good.
Brian Kemp got 75.3%.
Okay.
So higher than Ivy.
Not by much, though. Still C.
And Governor Tate Reeves. Tate, baby. 73%. So still higher than Ivy.
What about was there a governor from Minnesota on there?
he was off the chart. He didn't even. He's just off the chart.
They held him back.
Yeah, he's like that's special needs. That's Tim Walz. So they CPAC did laud Ivy for signing into law school choice legislation, which was a good thing. A ballot harvesting ban, protecting minors from harmful content, a ranked choice voting ban, a DEI ban at public universities, a bill allowing parents to access school curricula, and other conservative bills. But it was critical of her signing bills into law that passed the legislature almost unanimously and were backed by the Business Council of Alabama, such as the Alabama Growth Alliance and new tax credit programs for workforce, housing, and childcare. So it seems like the bigwigs in this state, the big mules, if we can still use those sorts of terms, they're probably like, CPAC can take the report and shove it.
I believe so.
Yeah. So, that's going on. And then the story that is the top story at 1819news.com. Father of deceased University of Alabama baseball player says son died after being pressured by coaches to get COVID-19 vaccine.
Read that this morning.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What was the official?
Well, let's just read the report here. Davis James Heller was only 22 years old and had a promising baseball career ahead of him when he suddenly passed away from a cardiac episode, October 5th, 2022. His family described Heller as fiercely passionate about everything he did, especially baseball. His father, DJ Heller, told 1819 News his son did not want to get the COVID-19 vaccine. Heller presented a fake vaccination card the first year, But when it was time for a second vaccination, DJ Heller said his son felt guilty despite having a pre-existing condition. Davis was very much of a conscientious good kid. He didn't do anything wrong and didn't like to get into trouble. The university said there were never any official vaccine mandates at any University of Alabama sport.
Mm-hmm.
However, Heller told his parents that coaches told the team it was selfish not to get vaccinated. Without the shot, players were not allowed to go out to eat on road trips or eat in the dining hall, Heller told his parents. They also had to be tested for COVID twice a week and quarantined for 5 days after every contact trace. He told his parents the coaches strongly advised them to get the shot if they planned to play ball. Even though he had a medical exemption from a doctor, Heller did not want to let anyone down.
They let him down.
That's just awful.
It is.
And I can see why. I mean, it's a top story because it's one of those ones where folks are like, oh, I mean, we thought this would happen with a lot of young men in particular.
Mm-hmm. 22.
22. And especially if he had a pre-existing condition.
Did they say what the condition
Well,
was?
he had an exemption too, but they, still, pressure got to him.
I'm not seeing that.
So wrong. So wrong.
Okay, while in high school, he was treated for pericarditis.
Mm-hmm.
Years before going to college, he was given a clean bill of health. His dad said tests showed there were no longer any issues with his heart. However, when he passed away 9 months after receiving the vaccine, an autopsy showed his heart was double in size and was severely damaged.
Yep.
Unfortunately, there's too many examples of that.
Indeed. Hey, how about we hit a break
Okay.
and we'll dig into a lot of these stories. Trump now speaking live at the Chicago Economic Club or Economic Club of Chicago. I'm sure we'll get some
Making
good
some
clips out of
statements
that.
on tariffs.
Oh, he's doing the hands thing. Don't you like the hands? It's like 2 turkeys on Thanksgiving. He's
I
doing
like people that
do talk with their hands.
As long as they're not close to their face. I don't like it when they're like this, actually.
This part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And they're at the Goodson Group. Bo and his team are ready to help you with, buying or selling a home here in the River Region real estate market. Bo's been helping buyers and sellers in Montgomery and the surrounding areas for nearly half a century now. And at the Goodson Group, not only can they help with buying and selling your property, they have management services available should you want to rent out your home. It's a great idea in this market, especially all the turnovers and the military bases around these parts. And then the crown jewel there is the Bo Goodson Real Estate School. It's one of the most highly acclaimed real estate programs in the state. I think because of Bo's nearly 50 years of experience, but it's also a very interactive course. He's teaching you, direct, getting you involved. And the proof of how good that school is how many folks have graduated from Bo's school and gone on to great success, whether it's fully licensed realtors or more knowledgeable private players. So check out the Goodson Group today. You can always go to thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. Great sponsor here. News and Views in the afternoon.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
If your credit card bills have gotten out of hand, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it'll take years to get out of debt. Call Consolidated Credit now. They've helped over 10 million people. Without destroying your credit, they can reduce your interest rates, lower your total payments up to 50% to get you out of debt fast. For a free consultation, call Consolidated Credit now. The program works.
Call 800-210-4298. 800-210-4298. 800-210-4298.
Consolidated Credit Solutions Incorporated, 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33313. Licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Kansas CSO 0019051. Maryland DM 1492. Oregon DM 892. Licensed by the Virginia State Corporation Commission License Number DC83. Service may adversely affect the individual's credit. Non-payment of debt may lead to additional finance charges or collections activity, including legal action. Actual interest rates, length of program, and monthly payment reductions will vary by consumer and creditor. Yours could be higher or lower. Not a loan company. We do not lend money.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From a little fender bender to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For over 35 years, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather. Hi, everybody. The coolest air of the season is settling in, but this Canadian cool down will be relatively short. Sunshine today, but a cooler day. Breezy, high 74. Clear, colder tonight. Overnight low in the mid-40s by tomorrow morning. Wednesday, highs only in the 60s. I've got us around 67 Wednesday, 69 on Thursday with more sun. The coldest morning will be Thursday morning. We'll be getting close to the 40-degree mark. And then look for a weekend rebound. I think the high temperature by Saturday and Sunday will be getting close to 80 and still dry. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Whether you're buying a home or auto or consolidating debt, CB&S Bank's personal loans get you where you need to go. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you or apply online today. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Again, both Eddie Bader. You doing better?
Better.
Mr. Bader and Byron Sheehy here in the studio with me. And let's go to Simpler Days. Hey, Simpler Days.
Hey, did you happen to catch the clip this weekend of Smokey the Bear trying to load his shotgun?
Yes, I did.
I thought that was Elmer Fudd.
It's quite comical.
Elmer Fudd said, "Don't use his name."
Yeah.
He doesn't want any confusion.
Evidently, when they sold him, gave him the shotgun to use as that prop, they didn't explain the nomenclature of it. And one of the first things you do when you get a weapon is make yourself familiar with it. You disassemble it and assemble it, so if it jams, you know how to fix it. But evidently, he's more familiar with the nomenclature of the tampon machine than he is that shotgun.
Actually, Walls, I think, scares me more as a potential president. Say Kamala gets in, he's vice president. God forbid something happened to her, he's president. I think he scares me more than Kamala. Because I think Kamala is the empty suit, the puppet that'll say whatever you need her to. I think Walz is kind of one of these ideologues who's a true believer. And which means he'll go even further with all sorts of crazy crap, thinking he's doing the right thing.
Or somebody getting him to think he's doing the right thing.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But evidently the Secret Service agent that couldn't find her holster under fire must have gone to the same range qualification course that Tampok.
But I thought he used all these type of guns in the military, his military training.
Well, I thought he was in combat, and you have to disassemble and assemble your weapon
Several
and
times.
do all that stuff when when you're in combat.
Yep.
Have a good day, gentlemen.
Stop picking on that knucklehead. He can't help it. My wife says sometimes my grammar not so good. Like he's
awful.
Especially at that debate. I'm like, I don't think he's an evil person. I think he's evil in the category of stupid. Like he could easily be swayed.
Dumb.
But he came across as like, he's just not ready for prime time. I'm sure, think of there are a few people in Alabama politics I think would be ready on the national stage. But for instance, I think Steve Marshall would be ready on the national stage.
All right.
But a few of them, as soon as they got on the national stage, you might be like, ooh, come back to Alabama.
I wouldn't put him up there, though. That's the thing.
Do you think he was a sacrificial lamb? Do you think that they might have already known that
it was
Kamala
a loss and they just put a
skull,
loser with her?
Just
put more of an anchor with her?
I think that's why, I know why Newsom didn't do it. He knows who she is and he didn't want any part of it.
Well, didn't Josh Shapiro want it?
100%.
Not bad enough.
No, and I think that it's crass and it's crude, but I think he was too Jewish.
100% that was the reason.
Yeah, no doubt.
And
he would have been effective.
He's
Yes,
ready.
he would've.
He's ready for prime time.
Man. It's so crazy right now, especially the Democrats, all the infighting. If they pull something off out of this and with 20 days left, I'll be amazed.
The one thing you have to remember about the clown car, there's still a clown driving the car.
Good one. Let's go to Papa B.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I clown more and more when you look it through things. Tim Walz looks like that clown, actually. The Knucklehead Express, I declare, where did they come up with these guys? And, just to be blindsided like that during the debate, sit there, really a deer in the headlight looks like no other. Mouth agape, face bled of blood, just drained the blood out of his face. Well, I could be a knucklehead. I can be a knucklehead. What? Yeah, you sure can, pal. In fact, it's not that you can be, you are.
I think he did play the clown in Billy Madison. Hey, kids, it's me. Bet you thought that I was dead.
I tell you what really gets me are these, the Democrats right now. It used to be that they would at least put a fig leaf on before bounding out in public about all their dumb ideas. A wink and a nod. Oh, you want illegals to vote? Oh, Papa B, come on now. You just go into that's conspiracy theory.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you right now, they don't even care anymore. They out there advocating for it, actually. With the DOJ coming down on Youngkin in Virginia and his elimination of, I don't know how many was it, over 100,000? I don't know. Tens of thousands, I would think, anyway, of illegal aliens that were registered to vote. And, I mean, the DOJ can't get on fast enough. What do you make of all that, Joey? I mean, are we just finally, they're not even caring anymore?
Yeah, no, I think it's the same. We were talking about it yesterday. It's the same trick the UK Labour Party pulled, where, we're for the working man, and then all of a sudden, overnight, no, we're for the immigrant. And no human being is illegal.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Right. No, I think it depends on the state regime. Say if you put a voting regulation integrity regime that Florida has, I don't think you get away with a lot of illegal votes. But if you keep it pretty open with the mass mail out and the drop boxes, I think it could happen.
That's by design.
I think the longer term game is no, you let in all these people who don't necessarily vote in 2024, but 4 or 5 years, 10 years later, once we've legalized everybody, made them citizens,
I'm pretty certain there was a state that recently tried to implement the requirement that you have to be a citizen for the application, and a court was like, can't do that.
No, Wes Allen pulled 3,200 names off the roll.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about pulling people off. I'm talking about on the front side of it.
Oh, wow.
Texas is the same thing. You know, on and on through the red states, they're cleaning up their voter rolls. And, it's corrupt. You know, you had James Clyburn even just admitting, look, all we need is a warm body and an address. We don't need you to vote. We just need a warm body and an address. That's all they need. So is there cheating? No, by leaps and bounds are there cheating. There's just, how may I cheat thee? Let me count the ways. There are more ways to get around getting that ballot into the box before you can even think about it than you can shake a stick at.
Yeah, do you think they're going to like nursing homes and be like, well, if you don't, fill out this ballot, you just pulled landscaping duty?
They don't ever even know that they
I think they just don't know they filled out the ballot.
They are threatening them, saying, look, if Trump wins, you're going to be out on the street.
I wouldn't know that.
They absolutely did that in 2020. Probably every other election too, to be honest with you. You know, threats of violence, threats of, this guy doing that, not being taken care of by the Democrats who love him so much. That's been going on a long, long time. What I'm trying to get across to you here is I think that maybe some maybe the cheating is being countered effectively in some way.
More so than 2020.
Much more so than 2020.
Yes.
And so, we're going to maybe see a little bit sooner, but if Trump gets in, but if Katie bars the door, that, the Voting Rights Act, which I call the Cheating Rights Act, basically just let everything go. There was no control whatsoever. And reining that back in has been a, 40, 60-year process. But if Trump does not get elected, you can guarantee one thing. You're not going to get a Republican. Coast to coast. It's over. But anyway. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it, Papa B. 272-9228 is part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. And there at Cole Plumbing, James and the team are ready to help you with any and all of your plumbing problems. Could be everyday issues like a clogged drain or low water pressure. Could be something like you suspect a tree root invasion into those pipes. Maybe a gas line leak. You're like, what's that smell? Gas.
Mm-hmm.
It could be you've got a big leak inside or outside your home. Well, Cole Plumbing has this proprietary pipelining technology that allows them to, precision and expertise to get in there and solve the problem without having to do stuff like tear out a bunch of drywall inside the house or dig up
the slab
or dig up a huge hole in your yard, all these sort of things. No, they can do it with precision and expertise with that technology unique to Cole Plumbing. And of course they can, help you out in upgrades. Tankless water heater system. Maybe you want to upgrade the accessories in the bathroom or the kitchen, especially something like a taller toilet. If you're getting up there in age, they can help you with all of that. So check them out today. You can always go to coleplumbing.com or give them a call at 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl,
call on Cole, Joey.
We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
I've been doing electrical work for 7 years.
6 years.
23 years.
I love troubleshooting. It's one of my passions.
Electrical is all I do, unless my wife asks me to do something at home. Together, there's nothing that we can't figure out or accomplish. We've seen it all here at Mr. Electric.
Going in with the confidence to know it doesn't matter what I'm going to run into, I'm going to figure it out, and confidently telling that customer, we got you taken care of.
I'm Wes Allen, Secretary of State. In Alabama, election integrity is a top priority. We must ensure fair, secure, and transparent elections. To vote in Alabama, State law requires voters to present a valid form of photo identification. For a complete list of acceptable identification, or to learn more about acquiring a free photo voter ID, visit alabamavotes.gov.
This message is presented by Alabama Secretary of State Wes Allen.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. The news and views in the afternoon.
Eddie, are you a boomer?
No.
50, 55.
He's a Gen Xer through and through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't put a label on me, man.
The longest tooth in the.
Are you an older millennial or a Gen Xer?
I think I'm officially part of that Goonies little sub generation, like 77 to 83.
Okay. Yeah, I'd put you more in Gen X.
Yeah, I identify more with Gen X.
Yeah. I'm
If
definitely
I can
millennial.
select my generation that I closely identify with.
Yeah.
Your friend's older than you, younger than you?
Older.
Mine used to be. It changed. I don't know. Start hanging out with younger kids.
Stay young.
I guess.
Now, being a kid in the 90s was fantastic. Like, 1995 was just a good year.
Oh, we lived in the high
20s, my friend.
Hmm?
So you should have been in my 20s or in your
90s
20s.
were fun to be in your 20s? No, that was the golden era, man.
It was.
It's before 9/11. It's after the end of the Cold War. Like, we're starting to put high fructose corn syrup in everything.
I was young. I was good looking.
The movie blockbusters just get better and better. Like, I mean, the sexual revolution's in full bloom.
My rent on the lake was $5.50 a month.
It was the golden age of video games,
You
too.
couldn't not make money in the 90s.
Yeah.
Good time.
I mean, and the biggest concern was, what did Bill Clinton do with that cigar?
Oh, yeah.
You know,
That really wasn't my concern. More curiosity thing at that time.
Academics have gone back and said that that's when the whole unraveling the
They've said
discourse
that, yes.
between the parties.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. They saw it as being personal and not political.
Are all these left-wing academics?
I don't think so.
Because, I mean, it got pretty personal with what, like Judge Bjork or whatever his name is? Judge
I
Bjork?
think it's more like the duration.
It got pretty personal with Clarence Thomas, right?
The duration that it went.
Right. Now, I just got a feeling like you go back to LBJ, got pretty personal. Like, there's been nasty. I love this thing where it's like, oh, it all went downhill with Trump. And I'm like, no, politics has always been nasty. There are good eras of good feelings and people tend to get along better, but there's been plenty of nasty eras too.
Yeah, but think about information flow and how the ease at which people are receiving all that too. You almost had to go find it. Now it finds you.
Oh yeah, every which way. And I have trouble taking it seriously. I really do at this point.
It's a good thing Marshall said that HB 172 does it to apply to parody content. We'd probably be out of jobs.
Yeah. Good old parody.
Comedy.
Thank you, Mark Norman. This part of the program is the time where we have to hit a break. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Former President Donald Trump has opened a 3-point lead over Vice President Kamala Harris in the key battleground state of Pennsylvania. A new telephone and online survey by Rasmussen Reports, an American thinker, finds that if the election were held today, 50% of likely Pennsylvania voters would vote for Trump. 47% would vote for Harris. Governor Gavin Newsom signing a law aimed at preventing gasoline prices from spiking at the pump in California. Californians pay the highest pump prices in the United States. And in Monday Night Football, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills take the win over Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. The final, 23-20. The Dow dropping 170 points, the NASDAQ off 183. This is SRN News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling,
renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather. Hi, everybody. The coolest air of the season is settling in, but this Canadian cool down will be relatively short. Sunshine today, but a cooler day. Breezy, high 74. Clear, colder tonight. Overnight low in the mid-40s by tomorrow morning. Wednesday, highs only in the 60s. I've got us around 67 Wednesday, 69 on Thursday with more sun. The coldest morning will be Thursday morning. We'll be getting close to the 40-degree mark. And then look for a weekend rebound. I think the high temperature by Saturday and Sunday will be getting close to 80 and still dry. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. Get a Kubota RTV with a $2,000 instant rebate or 0% APR. Up to 48 months with approved credit. Get a Kubota now through December 31st, 2024. See Capital Tractor Montgomery and Brundage or KubotaUSA.com for details.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. The state of Alabama is scheduled to carry out its 5th execution of the year on Thursday with the lethal injection of Derek Dearman at Holman Correctional Facility. Dearman pleaded guilty to killing 5 members of his then-girlfriend's family with an axe and a gun during a meth-fueled rampage in 2016. Watauga County residents will have an opportunity to vote on a county-wide ad valorem property tax increase on November 5th. The 7 mil tax will collect an additional $7 million each year to help fund the Watauga County school system. The increase would be roughly $70 per year for every $100,000 of the estimated home value. The Associated Press released its top 25 preseason men's college basketball poll on Monday, with the University of Alabama ranked second. Number 1 Kansas received 30 first-place votes. The Crimson Tide, led by All-America guard Mark Sears, earned 14 first-place votes. Auburn begins the season ranked just outside the top 10 at number 11. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This is Frank Bertorelli. We'd like to take time out to thank Blue Water Broadcasting for their years of help in growing our business. Over 25 years with Zap Pest Control and still growing thanks to Blue Water Broadcasting.
Our advertisers are our biggest advocates. Call us to find out how radio can increase your bottom line. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money?
Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest.
You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist?
That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839.
I see.
Yes, he is our preferred money man.
The money man with the money plan.
You've been paying attention.
Well, could you give us those numbers one more time?
334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man.
Oh, what's that?
I'm not an elk.
Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you?
Knights of Columbus.
I am not even going to make a comment.
Well, the baby liked it.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Point. Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to the program. So where to next? I want to do something that actually makes me happy. Let's go to the Elon stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because first is a clip from 13 years ago.
Ooh, wow.
So the great success of the catch, the big hug that the rocket just got.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is Elon 13 years ago at the National Press Club, laying out his vision for SpaceX. And just knowing what has already been accomplished, it's pretty amazing. Let's listen in.
So the pivotal breakthrough that's necessary, that some company has to come up with to make life multiplanetary is a fully and rapidly reusable orbit-class rocket. This is a very difficult thing to do because we live on a planet where that is just barely possible. If gravity were a little lower, it would be easy. If it was a little higher, it would be impossible. Just a very tough engineering problem. I wasn't sure it could be solved for a while. But then I think just so relatively recently, probably just in the last 12 months or so, I've come to the conclusion that it can be solved. And I think SpaceX is going to try to do it. Now, we could fail. I'm not saying we're certain of success here, but we're going to try to do it. And we have a design that, on paper, doing the calculations, doing the simulations, it does work. And now we need to make sure that those simulations and reality agree, because generally when they don't, reality wins.
That was September of 2011. And, well, the reality is starting to come to life, especially given what happened over the weekend. Pretty amazing stuff. Mm-hmm. And when you think about the amount of payload you can now put into orbit, the amount of satellites, how quickly you can now move stuff with this new tech, I mean, it's brought the cost down of doing it like 10x.
Well,
pretty remarkable.
The idea is to just drop it back down, reload, and go back up. I mean, constant. It's just a constant.
Right. And the size of these rockets, too, are just massive. I like people who have vision, and it doesn't mean you worship Elon. It doesn't mean you look the other way if he does something awful.
Right.
But, that should be, whatever happened. I remember Peter Thiel doing an interview on this with Peter Robinson show, Uncommon Knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Thiel's point is, whatever happened to ticker tape parades? Especially turn of the century, early 1900s, there would be parades for great innovators, great industrialists, great heroes in war, and so many other things. The closest we get to that now is what? You win a Super Bowl?
Yep.
Or it's Pride Month or something? It's what happened to that culture that would celebrate the innovator and the visionary?
I don't think we were ever really that culture.
Okay.
I mean, maybe occasionally from time to time, but
it wasn't the vast majority of Americans.
I got mad the other night and I was like, the fact that our politicians make the amount of money that they do and our teachers who educate, which, even from a Christian standpoint, you teach a man to fish, you don't have to give him a fish. So I think it makes sense. Educate everybody, right?
Right.
But we don't seem to be doing a very good job of that. But what are we doing a really good job of? Letting politicians run amok and just become filthy rich.
No, yeah, it's amazing the nice things you can have and the life you can build for yourself with other people's money.
Yeah.
You down with OPP?
Occasionally.
OPM.
OPM. Man,
You said something differently.
Property.
Oh.
Yeah, money's property.
Property.
Okay.
Where it used to be.
Or
Now it's
power.
kind of a.
Well, I'm glad you clarified.
Now it's kind of an equity share in government's, proof of violence.
Yeah, not so into it now.
Yeah, right.
OPTR. Other people's tax rebates.
So this next clip is, again, Elon based, but this is NVIDIA's CEO, which, man, if you bought NVIDIA a few years back, you're sitting pretty.
Oh, yeah.
Man, and NVIDIA is huge with this burgeoning AI space, their tech. This is the NVIDIA CEO talking about Elon Musk and what he did with XAI. The bottom line is, never done it before. XAI did in 19 days what everyone else needs a year to accomplish.
The smarts, the ambition, that's X.AI.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
and
incredible.
well, there are reports out there that you and Larry and Elon had dinner. They talked you out of 100,000 H100s. They went to Memphis and built a large coherent supercluster in a matter of months.
So first, three points don't make a line. Okay. Yes, I had dinner with them. Causality is.
What do you think about their ability to stand up that supercluster? And there's talk out there that they want another 100,000 H200s, right, to expand the size of that supercluster. First, talk to us a little bit about X and their ambitions and what they've achieved, but also, are we already at the age of clusters of 200 and 300,000 GPUs?
The answer is yes. And then the
Wow.
First of all,
I just want to pause it there. GPUs, that's like what? A graphics card. But you're looking at clusters of these computers.
Yeah.
That we're already at that point where people are going to build more and more of these things. And talk about the power demands. Like, it's going to affect us here locally with that meta facility being stood up and people vying to get the solar farms and all this stuff.
Solar farms trying to come in over here.
I was fighting this fight 2 years ago, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I've told you off the air how atrocious some of it was, some of the places they were doing it. And here's what I can't wrap my head around. Instead of using the green space for ag that we probably desperately need in the future, I've seen places where they actually put them on top of buildings in cities or, somewhere that's not being used or that we're not going to have to use, per se.
Yeah.
Like, why not adopt some of that?
No, that could be. Well, we don't have that many buildings.
But it doesn't have to be,
that are that high.
right here around,
Right.
all this green space. It can
That's
be
true.
somewhere else.
Though I heard recently somebody told me that part of the plan with a lot of the green space that isn't developed even, where they're talking about here in this area, they're looking to do that in tandem with sheep. Yeah. Sheep farming. Apparently
solar and sheep.
Solar and sheep. I'm like, I'm still kind of wrapping my head around it, like sheep. But yeah, apparently there's some model where they can harvest sheep, and the sheep graze and keep the grass. They alternate different spots where they're feeding.
Yorkshire Island, right? Yorkshire Island, Scotland.
Yeah, sheep.
So we do goats here.
Yeah, we might. I don't know. I'm not the expert when it comes to solar farms and livestock, but I was told that recently. Anyway, back to the CEO of NVIDIA.
Acknowledgement of achievement where it's deserved. From the moment of concept to a data center that's ready for NVIDIA to have our gear there, to the moment that we powered it on, had it all hooked up, and it did its first training.
Yeah.
Okay.
Incredible.
So that first part, just building a massive factory, liquid cooled, energized, permitted, in the short time that was done. I mean, that is like superhuman.
Right.
Yeah. And as far as I know, there's only one person in the world who could do that.
Right.
I mean, Elon is singular in this understanding of engineering and construction and large systems and marshaling resources.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And of course, then his engineering team is extraordinary. I mean, the software team's great, the networking team's great, the infrastructure team is great. You know, Elon understands this deeply. And from the moment that we decided to go, the planning of with our engineering team, our networking team, our infrastructure computing team, the software team, all of the preparation in advance, then all of the infrastructure, all of the logistics and the amount of technology and equipment that came in on that day, NVIDIA's infrastructure and computing infrastructure and all that technology, to training, 19 days. You don't want.
Did anybody sleep? 24/7.
No question that nobody slept. But first of all, 19 days is incredible. But it's also kind of nice to just take a step back and just, do you know how many days 19 days is? It's just a couple of weeks.
Right.
And the amount of technology, if you were to see it, is unbelievable. All of the wiring and the networking and, you know, networking NVIDIA gear is very different than networking hyperscale data centers. Okay. The number of wires that goes in one node, the back of a computer is all wires.
It's pretty nuts. And when you think about like dumb technology, or let's say old technology, how long, and you know, there are differences obviously in engineering projects, but like how long does it take to get anything done? Like with a road? Like, for instance, Will Ainsworth's all about widening 65.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, when he spoke here in Montgomery, said, I kind of like that Ainsworth guy. Make it wider. Make it wider.
Right.
How long do you think, say everybody's on board, feds are on board, Trump's pushing it, states pushing it. How long do you think that would take?
10 plus years, 10 to 20 years.
And yes, again, engineering projects are different. But why? Why does it take so freaking long to do anything?
Because I go by pick a place where government workers are actually doing something, and I see 7 guys standing on a shovel and, you know, 1 guy actually working. As much as I don't want to say that,
right,
is reality. I mean, you have the private sector here who has an interest in making this happen. I mean, I don't want to talk about the widening of 65. I mean,
you don't think it's a good idea?
No, I don't. I think it's a horrible idea. I can get numerous studies to back it up.
Right. Well, and the studies, bottom line, essentially show you make it wider, it still gets
Induced
clogged up.
demand.
Yeah.
The only difference is it won't have as many Alabama plates. It'll have a bunch of out-of-state plates.
Is there any solution to the constant backups there, that bottlenecking?
I think the road or from Mobile to Tuscaloosa would be a phenomenal idea. You get better return on your investment as far as opening up the western part of the state. You can all you have to do is look at 22, how much that's opened up.
Right. But even how long is that project? And that's less developed area.
What did it,
20 plus years? Buy all that property?
What did 22 take?
Oh, good Lord.
It was about 20 years.
About 20 years.
Dang.
Yeah.
And again, these are different types of projects, especially when you get into property rights issues and rights of way and whatnot. But it's amazing across the board. Pick any big engineering project or thing we need to do, and it seems like it costs an arm and a leg, and it takes forever. And my sense of it is some jackass clown on the radio is that none of that is necessary. Like, it doesn't have to be this way.
Well, just to prove that, what did California tell Elon Musk over the weekend?
Yeah, you can't fire more rockets off our coast because we don't like your tweets.
Right. Just to prove your point, jackasses stand in the way.
It's just nuts.
Don't think we don't have them here.
And I think something is deeply wrong when you don't prop people like that up and let them do what they need to do. Again, it doesn't mean you give away the store, it doesn't mean you let them violate other people's rights, but let those people who can do these amazing things in that amount of time, let them do it. In fact, it's the one area, and I've pissed off a Tea Party meeting or two back when I said this years ago. Barack Obama deserves a lot of credit for saying, nope, we're going to go to the commercial space race. We're not going to just keep pumping money into NASA, what we're currently doing.
100%.
And, I mean, there's a lot. Boeing's not doing as well. There are a lot. Blue Origin's coming along. Like, there's a lot of stuff, but SpaceX, far and above, has been an incredible success story.
Serious question. How has he avoided being taxed out of business? It seems, I mean, it seems like that's the first thing they would do. Oh, you're successful? Space tax.
Oh, no, they're being sued in all sorts of ways.
Which way? Yeah.
It's lawfare. And it's because you bought this communication platform and you now have given people in this country an alternative to our propaganda network.
Don't you love that that's a real term? Lawfare.
Yeah, but it's a real thing. It's not even about winning. The punishment is the process. And just trying to bleed folks dry. And you're right. It's amazing. How do they survive from legal fees, tax threats, to regulatory threats and compliance issues? Like, they are ready to put rockets, some of the biggest rockets ever created by man. They're ready to do that faster, fire them up, bring them back down, put them on a platform, refit them, send them back up. They're ready to do that faster than people can do paperwork at the FAA.
And it's only going to get better. As our technology increases, we get better computing. I mean, it's only going to become more efficient.
Yeah.
So long as we can keep government out.
And this is why I do love the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Doesn't even need to be a real department, just an office for Elon to call a bunch of people. And man, but that's going to be a hell of a fight. The entrenched bureaucracy, millions of employees of the federal government that you do not need to accomplish so many things, entire departments that need to go away.
Start with competency
completely.
test. Just start with general competency testing.
When's the last time the Pendleton Act was visited in any way, shape, or form?
They actually did some, strangely, it was one of these bipartisan things under Carter where there was a restructuring.
In Carter, okay.
And then, of course, Reagan continued that. I mean, think like the, what's wrong with the beer we got? You know, the whole craft beer thing?
Yeah.
That really gets going under, like, Carter and them restructured things. I think there was a interstate or a highway system department that was really antiquated from, you know, the early 1900s they got rid of. And then, of course, Reagan speeds this up. But since, like, especially after 9/11, the so-called national security infrastructure has just grown and grown and grown, and it's completely embedded in all the tech companies. It's just amazing to watch.
I don't even know how you would audit. You know, people would put, you know, proposals out during campaign season. They'd audit the federal government. Like, how would you discern the front companies for the deep state? Like, where this tax,
where our real secrets are.
Yeah, I mean, like,
right.
I don't think we can unravel it really.
See,
man.
and honestly, I think anybody is probably going to be like, no, we don't want to touch like the UFOs. Like,
Yeah.
It's good that you try to keep those under wraps.
If I don't know, the black budget can stay off the books.
That's not what's making us bankrupt.
The other 97%.
Well, and then there's things like Vivek Ramaswamy's pointed this out. When's the last time we built like a modern nuclear plant for energy in this country?
80.
Yeah. And it's all antiquated because of this particular regulatory body where they just won't let you
won't do it.
It's just, you're not allowed.
Drilling for oil.
Damn
These leases.
spotted sparrow.
You've got bureaucrats in front of that nah, I'm a Green Party person, so you'll never get a lease.
And I say that because when you think of this guy, the CEO from NVIDIA, saying, look how quick Elon and his team put this up. But the first thing he said, this is the world we're going to, where you need this massive amount of computing power to essentially create these artificial intelligent systems, which, by the way, we're in a race. The Chinese are, I think, ahead.
I don't think they are.
You don't think so?
I think they're still in, I mean, they rely on other countries to
still
develop
reverse
the
engineering,
technology.
so
They
they're
can
not.
steal it.
But the point
I've seen
is,
that in action.
yeah, but then they've got the thing where they really don't have to give a damn about their people.
No, they don't, but
Well, does our government really care about ours? I mean, come on.
I want to believe not to the extent of China's give a damn, but
don't look too hard then.
It's like they're 3 glasses of wine past
Right.
our leadership. They're just a little bit more
But the
honest
point
about
is you're going to need energy production. And like, yeah, solar farms, wind, all this stuff. But I think in general, what you want, it's why fossil fuels work, is you want dense, cheap energy. Like, drive the price down, make it go further. And with modern techniques they could use with, say, a nuclear reactor, why aren't we doing that?
well,
Be a
you
lot
said it
safer
would
than
lower
anything
the
you can
price
imagine.
of electricity, right?
I was going to say profit.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly why we don't do it in Alabama. We're like
Alabama.
Alabama Power, I think, is number 3, or Alabama's number 3 or 4 top most expensive state to produce or to buy
Really?
electricity. And yeah, if you look at all poor states, look at their energy rates.
Mhm.
They're all kind of outrageous. It goes with nations too. Look at the energy rates they pay.
272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. This is part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. And at Dillon Rings, they're ready to help you out as a full-service jewelry shop. They really can do it all there, whether it's incredible selection or you're looking to get something repaired, maybe something cleaned up, they call it a spa treatment. And of course, they always have amazing deals, discounts with that incredible selection, not to mention Josh Ryder's custom design work. The guy is a true artist. If you can dream it, that man can make it a reality. And if you go to their Facebook page today, they're talking about the other birthstone for October. Josh, I'm sorry. This is a French word? Pink tourmaline?
Watch out for your R's.
Yeah, I know. But it's beautiful. I know that. It comes in many shades of pink. Ancient civilizations prize this stone, this gem, for its metaphysical properties, and it was often used in rituals and ceremonies. It's considered a stone of love and compassion, and it was thought to help open the heart's chakra. It was also believed to help release anger, resentment, and emotional trauma. Well, from what I'm looking at, if you're a October baby, you're looking for a great birthstone, it's absolutely beautiful. What I'm looking at is a massive gem on a diamond-encrusted band of a ring. Truly great work that Josh Ryder can do there. So if you want to see that and more, just stop by Dillon Rings today. Actually, stop by their brand new renovated showroom, 119 Brown Springs Road, right here in Montgomery. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie and Byron, those fellas on the radio, sent you. Let's go to Eric the dog. Hey, Eric.
Hola.
Hi.
How y'all doing?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Good.
buddy?
How you doing?
Busy as a one-legged man in a posterior kicking contest.
I see.
A lot of people need that
A lot
kick.
of bounce.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of bounce. And hey, how dare y'all try to submarine that old plan there to get them kids from the coast to into the mainland quickly? You know that 4-lane all the way from down there, all the way up into wherever it goes in Illinois. You got to get that human cargo through there quickly. And if there's more lanes, it's harder to get them. Don't y'all know nothing?
Oh, I didn't know that.
I missed
that's
that one.
dark.
I missed that memo.
That's dark.
Well, I mean, they're doing stupid things. Seriously, come on.
Yeah.
It's not for the betterment of us. It's not to bring in business and industry. I mean, there's no infrastructure where these people want to go, and they just want a 4-lane to the middle of nowhere. What are you doing, for real? Who owns the property?
It's always a good question
and
to
this,
ask.
This is the problem with the government. Is it's the people run it. That's a problem. And then people view us as their piggy bank. We're essentially on a plantation, and the people with the strings of power are the masters, and they are milking us and taking our money and screwing us at every opportunity, and then asking us to say, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?" And quite frankly, I'm tired of them people. So I assume the worst when politicians open their mouth, because nothing they do is free. Nothing they do, they don't pay attention to unintended consequences. They just do whatever gets them a little publicity for their next little run, and we continue to foot their bill. And I'm tired, and I know I ain't the only one.
Just give me 4 more years so I can solve the problem. I've been up here for 30, but just give me 4 more.
Right.
Yep.
I would just want one of them to be like, well, I can't really solve your problem. I got to work the system. Just be honest.
Well, I could deal with that. I could deal with the fact that that's just how it is. But when you are dishonest and I mean, come on, man. We're not kids. Anybody who even asks a general question is going to stumble into something and be like, well, why doesn't that make sense? And then when you have to explain a nonsensical answer with nonsense, I mean, what are we doing? And how do they get away with it? And why do we let them get away with it?
It's the history of man. Sorry to sound
Well, you
like
say pain, subjugation, and war, slavery?
No, there's always a ruling elite. And you can call it whatever system. It's a monarchy, it's an aristocracy, it's an empire, it's a democracy. No, it's a republic. It's like there's always folks. Sometimes they're better than others, but there's always folks who are taking from others in the name of helping them. And, feathering their own nest or seeking their own glories in the process.
I'm going to run for office, and I'm going to do what you say, Joe. Except I'm going to remove one thing: there'll be no sex in the White House as long as I'm there and married.
I thought you were going to say, vote for me, Eric the dog. I'm going to feather my own nest.
Your wife endorsed that message?
I am quite certain she does.
Yeah.
even if it's only implied. I'm certain. This is just. I mean, this is. I feel like we are watching a never-ending series of mysteries, Science Theater 3000, and we're just the people in the front row. Because to sit here and take this stuff seriously is.
No, there's many days, Eric, where I feel like I'm one of the apes at the beginning of Space Odyssey, looking at the monolith. That maybe it's not that far gone, but
excuse me, Idiocracy. I know it's more recent. But...
No, but somebody made a correction that it was predicted that Idiocracy would be our future, which were essentially the fantasies of like a teenage boy.
Right.
Actually, it's not true. It's fantasies of a teenager, but our future that we're now living in were the fantasies of a teenage girl. That's a better description of our society.
That's how Terry Crews is president.
Wait, Terry Crews. Let's said Ted Cruz.
Terry
Crews.
You've been listening to too much Tom Segura. No. I appreciate it, Eric.
Thanks, Sue.
Get your own cave. All right, y'all. Adios.
Let's go to David. Hey, David.
Yeah.
Hey, David.
Bye-bye.
Hey, David.
David.
Hey, guys. What's up?
How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How are you guys?
Pretty good.
Sorry. Got multiple phones, multiple calls.
I get it.
It's all good, man.
Busy man.
Hey, such is the life of a drug dealer.
Man, we got the best call in this show.
You know what? He can say that because he pays his taxes. He may not be.
Yeah, you guys are gonna have to hang on a second. I got a money call.
Don't dodge my call, man.
On the interstate thing, I'd say, conventional wisdom would say, that, building an additional interstate in West Alabama would probably be a good thing, especially to try to divert tractor trailer traffic off of 65.
Yes.
That, and if they could get that rail modem working from Montgomery to Mobile, would be a big plus too. But, I go down to the Gulf numerous times a year, down 65. And I have literally gotten to the point now to where I do not travel 65 past about 11 o'clock in the morning. If I can't get down there or get back to Montgomery before then I just don't go. A lot of times I'll leave at like 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. So
smooth sailing then.
Yeah, but the thing is that what you find is just like now. I just came home and was on 65, and if you look around when you're driving on 65, I'd say probably 1/4 to 1/3 of all the license plates are out-of-state license plates, and I'd say probably 90% of those people are either going to Gulf Shores or Pensacola, or back to wherever they're from. And if you follow most of the accidents that occur on 65, I'd say probably 75% of those accidents involve people from out of state.
Look, I'll even compromise them. Maybe we only do it 10, 15 miles outside of the metropolitan area and allow traffic to actually kind of filter and flow a little bit more freely. But I mean, just eating the all light, stock and barrel. I mean, again, the data shows that it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think that if they did 3-lane 65, if they just picked it up in south of Birmingham from Alabaster, where it's 3-laned up to that point anyway, and even if they just 3-laned it down to Gulf Shores Parkway, I think that alone would resolve a lot of the issues with the accidents, because it would allow a 3rd lane for tractor trailer traffic to get into the right lane rather than using up both the lanes currently, because inevitably a lot of times I see, I get behind a tractor trailer that's driving 60, 65 miles an hour in the left lane, will not move over, and people get impatient, and that's when stuff starts happening.
Well, and
things like that.
Whether it's this issue or so many others, it's an engineering problem. There are practical ways to solve and address these problems. But,
Yeah.
and obviously you can tell from my ranting and raving all these years, I am starving for sort of visionary executive energy, whether it's at the state level or any level, to get in and solve these issues. I just worry with our dear state, it's still let me scratch your back sort of thing going
Good old boy club, full effect.
And maybe it takes some
sure
big personality like a Trump, but the Alabama version.
Well, I mean, along that line of thought, though, you can still appease the special interest if you're building a road. They don't necessarily care where, because they're getting the business of, let's build it where it makes sense.
Yeah. But you got to ask yourself the question. You go over to Atlanta, they are constantly building. They have been for 50 years building roads in and around Atlanta. And yet we can't get a stinking road built in the state of Alabama.
But to your point, has the traffic problem in Atlanta been solved?
Absolutely not.
Well, no, because
and
you
never
got more
will be.
traffic coming in.
That's my point.
Yeah.
But you've got to build for that. You can't build for the traffic you have now. You have to build for the traffic
You
that's
got to
going
build
in.
ahead of it.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah. And that's the one thing, that at least Atlanta has the foresight to try to stay ahead of the curve. Alabama waits until everything's absolutely broke, busted, dead before hey, maybe we need to do something. So that's what drives me crazy about Alabama.
It is a mess. I don't think you're alone. And yet, we'll see. I appreciate it, David.
Thanks, Dave.
272-9228. And, there's part of me that suspects, with the Cool Kids Club and here in Alabama, there are a lot of people that see the same problem.
Mm-hmm.
It just is a matter of finding that breakthrough philosophy.
Gotta find a way to make some money off this problem, Joey. Then we can get it solved.
Or it just takes leadership, and it requires somebody that it's not me. I don't think it's many folks. I think it takes a unique personality to drive that car.
I don't even know if it takes a unique personality. I think it just takes someone maybe up front that doesn't necessarily want to use something to run on their next campaign. If you make a decision because it's the right decision and you're not going to be able to sit in that tree or the shade of that tree, but you're going to plant the seed, I'm all for that. But, to try to do it and then gain something politically off of it, I'm not for that.
Yeah.
Very simple man.
272-9228. If you want to get in on the conversation, let's hit a break. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Ah, Igor, don't you just love the sound of thunder? No, Dr. Frankenstein. It's scary. But I need a lightning bolt to bring the monster to life.
Actually, lightning is scary. A single strike within a mile of your home can send a tidal wave of voltage through the wires, burning out your computers, TVs, and GFCI plugs, even refrigerators and ovens.
Ah, drat, missed us again.
But here's the good news. The trained technicians at Crosby Electric can install an economical whole house system to protect you from electrical surges caused by lightning, downed power lines, nearby factories, or just the recycling of your own appliances.
Igor, why am I not getting a surge? Well, I have a pretty good hunch. Why, yes, Igor, and a fine hunch it is.
Igor ordered whole house surge protection from Crosby Electric. So should you. Visit crosbyelectric.com or call 272-2085.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1, WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Oh no, we got a traffic problem. We're sitting here talking about the traffic.
That's how bad it is, Joey. You can't even mention it,
Yeah.
or an accident will happen.
What happened, Eddie?
Apparently, 8565, we got an overturned 18-wheeler, several fire units out there trying to take care of things. So 65 southbound will be done for the day.
Honestly, that's the worst part of our
It
interstates. Is these big rigs. I'm not knocking drivers, all this stuff. I know you're doing what you got to do. I mean, that makes no daggum sense. Like, it's even around town, going around the interstate during busy times. It's one thing to have other cars or SUVs around you.
Mm-hmm.
Have these massive crates all around you. It's, you can't see, and it blocks up a lot of the road.
What's the restriction on how many hours they can drive a day?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know, but
Well, and we could get into it. A lot of it, when the whole longshoreman strike started up, people were throwing out stats that, yes, because of gains, concessions the longshoreman union got at certain ports, it makes it more expensive than freighting the stuff by truck. Where, in terms of like reality, it should be much less expensive to do it by water, even longer routes. So there's so many things in our, again, government and our regulatory system that gear up and make all the gears gooey, so to speak.
It's what you're prioritizing, right? What's your objective?
Right. It really is. So again, 6585. That's an awful spot.
It is,
I hope
man.
everybody's all right.
Well, that's one of our, honestly, in Montgomery, that's going to happen there, at least once a week?
Yeah.
I mean, at what point do we look at that and go, what can we do to improve this?
Now, earlier we mentioned the whole 90s, like the Clinton era. Did you see what Slick Willie said?
Oh, no.
Wait, I was going to bring this up. Are you talking about what he said 2 days ago, or are you talking about what he said yesterday?
I'm talking about the Lakeland Riley thing.
He said that 2 days ago.
2 days ago. What did he say yesterday?
He believes that we do need to let more immigrants in now because of our declining birth rates.
I did see that too.
So it's a cleanup, it sounds
Yes,
like,
is what it
from
is.
what he said 2 days ago. Here's what he said 2 days ago.
And on the immigration thing, she's the only candidate who has actually endorsed a bill that would hold down immigration in any given year to a certain point.
See, I don't think that audio is going out over the radio.
Yeah, it's just in my
sadly.
left.
Yep, likewise. So he essentially says Lakeland Riley's death probably wouldn't have happened if Kamala had done her job.
I believe he said if, the folks
Should've been
coming over were properly
vetted.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if this audio is a little better.
You had a case in Georgia not very long ago, didn't you? They made an ad about a young woman who'd been killed by an immigrant. Yeah, well, if they'd all been properly vetted, that probably wouldn't have
If
happened.
they'd all been properly vetted, that probably wouldn't have happened.
Telling the truth gets you in trouble there, Bill.
Right. And then he
better
did
go
a
fix
cleanup that we
You
need
should
more.
know better than anybody,
Yeah,
Bill.
we need
Better go
more
fix that.
folks, but we need to properly vet them. Well, why didn't we properly vet them? Maybe it's the number of people at once.
If we need a higher birth rate here in the United States, why don't we encourage that? We have willing participants, but childcare is expensive. Been there. Having a baby is expensive. Been there. So instead of letting foreigners in, why don't we do something here? Encourage it, if that's what we're really wanting to do. But I don't think that's what we're really wanting to do.
I don't think that's what we
I
wanted
didn't
to
think
do. But, sticking with the Clinton era theme, let's move over to James Carville. He was on CNN. He's always
become my
fun.
favorite, man.
What are you shaking your head at, Byron?
I love James Carville.
Yeah.
I mean, as a conservative, I love James Carville. But he has jumped the shark a few different times this week. I made a comment last week, I believe. Anytime you start comparing someone to Hitler, you've already lost the conversation.
Yeah. Well, here he is on CNN, so I don't think this one's like profanity laced. Like sometimes I just can't play the clip.
Give him a minute.
Yeah, maybe he drops F-bomb on CNN. I don't know. Let's listen in.
And she's got to put a light on this, a big shiny light.
So, if you were advising the Harris campaign, what would you be telling her?
Well, I would first of all have a flood of people say that to use the U.S. military to round up domestic enemies is about as anti-constitutional as anything you can think of, and that he's holding a rally in Madison Square Garden that, I'm sorry, is a mimic of a rally held on February 20th,
Oh,
1939
good God.
by the American Nazi Party.
Wow.
Oh, F
And-
you, Carville. Seriously,
did you not know
F
that's
you.
where he was going on that?
No, I figured, but as soon as he said Madison Square, no, it's not like,
Yep.
WrestleMania.
He's making that comparison.
It's Father
Joey.
Coughlin. Give me a breath, you,
Okay,
James Carville,
so-
you stupid old man.
All right, but we go back to the coordination on media and everything. Did you see the story about the boat parade where the a couple of neo Nazis got in? They did have some Trump flags on. They had the swastika, and a bunch of other Trump supporters like sprayed them or booed them out of the
Yeah,
procession.
right.
So the headline wasn't Trump supporters get rid of Nazis. It was, Nazis at Trump boat parade.
Yeah, but they've been doing this since the end of the
Yeah.
war. Seriously, they've been doing this since the end of the war. Well, we defeated the Germans. But, that whole spirit of Germany still lives right here at home. Tyrants. And that's the irony of human existence, right? The people who bully
Yes.
think they're the ones being bullied,
Mhm.
so we got to bully back. And so the cycle continues. But, seriously, who is believing this guy?
And we've got to quit being timid about making these connections that he is going out of his way to make. And the amount of pressure, I got a call
Keep
from some
believing this
Fox
crap,
entity saying,
James.
well, should you say that Trump wants to arrest his enemies when he's been the victim of assassination attempt? Well, I'm just repeating what Trump is saying. And by the way, the guy that shot at him was, I think, a registered Republican, some loser that had nothing to do with this. But the idea that he can propose these really anti-democratic, authoritarian, General Milley says he's fascist to his core. General Milley was a former head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. We got to get serious here with the threat that we face with. That's my
No,
that's my
anybody
point.
that threatens the agenda of the national security state of the blob gets labeled this, Carville. You old idiot.
In his defense, he may still be drunk from the Ole Miss LSU game. It was a close game.
It was a close game.
It's possible. It is possible.
I think he grew some gray hair and they fell out.
No, I think he needs to, follow through with that. They need to listen to James Carville's advice. Just keep calling Trump Hitler. It'll work. He's going to lock up his opponents. Wait, all the times y'all hauled him into court? Jackasses. No, we're the ones being bullied, so we have to bully. We're protecting democracy. No, you're protecting your own damn interests. You don't give a damn about the people of this country.
On the short side, with the campaign 3 weeks away, they are scrambling and they are like a bunch of monkeys in zoos trying to throw poop against the wall and see what sticks. Because their candidate does not have a message and she does not resonate with the people that she needs to be connecting with right now.
Have you not heard her interviews? She's connecting.
I love them. I haven't seen a ballerina with that much, movement and pivoting ability.
No, but again, this is just something Trump actually mentioned on that Flagrant podcast. But per a federal official, FBI has put Thomas Matthews Crook's phone and apps on the back burner. Neither phone or tablet has been touched since September 9th. But he's probably some loser registered Republican. Like your wife?
He was a registered
Yes, he
Republican, but he kind of became just disenfranchised or cynical, jaded, whatever you want to call it. But obviously is not rational.
Well, and Mike Benz commenting on that story saying that's because he was likely in group chats with undercover informants from DHS's Homeland Security Investigations section, at least one of whom likely had foreknowledge of Crook's plans for the Butler rally that they cannot allow to be, made public.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain I read somewhere that there was at least one other person who he had communicated with his intent.
Yep. No, it is amazing how quickly we get information on all sorts of people, especially when violent events happen. We got everything on, and we got nothing.
Yep.
If they want to, they would.
But Trump's just like the fascists of the 30s. Maybe the future is here, and that whole communist versus fascism frame doesn't actually work. Maybe the technocrats with powers that only totalitarians could dream of are the ones running the show. And I don't care if you put the noble toga of democracy over it or republic or liberty or whatever, we can see right through it. Just like when North Korea claims they're a republic. It's the biggest batch of BS. Anyway, thanks, James Carville.
Well, he got you worked up.
Well, because he's a stupid old man.
Yeah, but you can laugh at that. He's a moron.
I am laughing on the inside.
Okay, then. It's loud laughing.
272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. It's 334-272-9228. And yet, as you know, Trump's being called essentially the second coming of Hitler.
Yeah.
More numbers keep coming out. Well, numbers like this. Here's that guy from CNN, Harry Enton.
Who, that guy?
I never noticed before and make me go, whoa. This is
Whoa.
right. This is the Democratic margin among black men under the age of 45 in presidential elections. You go back to November of 2012. What do you see? You see Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63. Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53. A tremendous drop already. And then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points. That is about half the margin that Obama won them by back in November of 2012. And this, I think, is, when Barack Obama goes in last week when he was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, essentially talking to young black men, he made it seem like it was a Kamala Harris specific problem. This is part of a long-standing trend of young black men moving away from the Democratic Party, and Kamala Harris is just the latest to face that magnitude of younger black men going towards the Republicans.
That was most interesting here is the trend line and where some of the biggest drops happened or already happened in this case. How about black men overall?
How about black men overall? It's part of the same picture. We're looking.
Yeah, just to speed this up, 85 plus points for Obama. It's dropped down to Harris with all black men, all ages, is only up 54%.
Why didn't they use her bus tour as a way to, get the Swifties, get, Taylor and some other people who might help expand some of their voter registration the last couple of days and try to change the math a little bit instead of reverting back to calling people Nazis?
I don't know. I think because there isn't much left.
Yeah,
and
when all is lost, you just start.
By the way,
calling
this
people
is the
names.
highest Republican support from black men since Richard Nixon.
Really?
Holy moly. No wonder they're calling him all sorts of names. I got to hit this break. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, the best quality building materials in the river region for decades. From common builds to special orders and local delivery. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Hi, everybody. The coolest air of the season is settling in, but this Canadian cool down will be relatively short. Sunshine today, but a cooler day, breezy, high 74. Clear, colder tonight, overnight low in the mid-40s by tomorrow morning. Wednesday, highs only in the 60s. I've got us around 67 Wednesday, 69 on Thursday with more sun. The coldest morning will be Thursday morning. We'll be getting close to the 40-degree mark. And then look for a weekend rebound. I think the high temperature by Saturday and Sunday will be getting close to 80 and still dry. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. This entire hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. Madeline was going to join us today, Eddie, but she was so busy.
Wow.
Which is a good
It is
problem
a good
for our
thing, but
sponsor to have.
I hate when she's not here. 'Cause I really do enjoy it when she's. And honestly, I would like her to sit here. or at least get this camera, because this camera really shows with somebody like Madeline. With me, kind of shows my ugly. Somebody like her shows her beauty. I like the other camera like Byron's got, kind of covers.
Yeah, right. It's more true to reality. Yeah,
Call it forgiving.
forgiving.
You're
Right.
saying this is forgiving?
Yeah, more than this one.
Anyway, back to Alabama Home Mortgage and what they can do for you. Kim and Madeline, second to none.
Oh, yeah.
They beat everybody with turnaround times. They're the gold
No doubt.
standard of appraisals. Maybe it's been a while since you've had that house appraised and you just want to know. Maybe you've been on the bubble, on the fence when it comes to refinancing. Well, now's the time to at least have a conversation
Rates
with
have
them.
definitely come down.
That number, 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim and Madeline prove that to you today, especially you veterans. And they've been helping out veterans like crazy. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. Let's go to Chris. Hey, Chris.
Hey, good afternoon.
How you doing?
I was just calling. You're talking about liberals and how they're saying Trump's going to do all this. This is complete projection. They project everything they're currently doing. I mean, they're wanting to they've put people in prison between J6 and some of the former staffers and folks with Trump. I mean, Steve Bannon is still sitting in a prison as we speak. And and the racism, well, there's this anti-white movement inside of the Democrat Party, this anti-Semitism that runs deep inside the Democrat Party, which is still the party of the Ku Klux Klan who started it. And so they just project all these things, these terrible things Trump's going to do, when, everybody that probably is like me and you, it just wants things to be normal again, right? So we can, keep our money and live our lives and not have our children indoctrinated and not have World War III or have our children conscripted to fight in these wars. And that's all we're asking. And it's not anything radical, but what's a radical is the leftists. They're just radical people that want to transform this country into some dystopian utopia, I guess you would call it, that they've got us in mind, or some global community that's not going to be, bordered, no longer have any borders. I mean, it's crazy. But it's just a projection.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. It seems the hysteria, though, is a signal of they ain't got much left.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fear I have. Is what happens when you have a dog that's been hit by a car and he's cornered, right? That's the most dangerous time was when an animal is injured, right? And these folks are injured and they know the writing's on the wall and they're screaming and yelling and talking about being thrown in jail. We've already had 2 assassination attempts, and God only knows what else. But my fear is that they are going to try to do something and blame Iran for it. That's been kind of coming from the CIA for a while. And then, they killed Trump, so now we've got to have, go to war with Iran. I don't, and you were talking earlier about how people don't trust the government, how that's such a dangerous spot to be in. I mean, that's probably the most dangerous thing. I mean, you always had some kind of reservations about what the government says, but now you have from health care all the way to war. You don't trust me for me. I don't trust the government, whatever they say. And that is just an unhealthy place to be in 2024 with all the stuff going on in the world.
Yes, it is.
But y'all been hitting some good points, though. But it's just crazy stuff. And I know that y'all keep us abreast of what's going on, but it is wild things going on. And
you can't use that word as you're being serious. You said breast. I appreciate the call, man. Huh?
You're so immature.
Oh, and you're not?
Yeah.
And on that note, we'll be back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. U.S. officials say the Biden administration believes it has won assurances from Israel that it will not strike Iranian nuclear or oil sites as it looks to strike back following Iran's missile barrage earlier this month. U.S. Agriculture Department officials launching an internal investigation into how the agency handled the deadly listeria outbreak at a Boar's Head deli meat plant in Virginia. 10 people died, 50 were hospitalized. Police in Haiti say a leader of one of the country's most powerful gangs has been injured in a shootout with Haitian and Kenyan police in their first major incursion into the gang-controlled territory since a UN-backed mission began earlier this year. The Dow dropping 269 points, the Nasdaq off 159. This is SRN News.
Americans now have more credit card debt than at any time in history, owing a staggering $1.3 trillion collectively. What happens when most people can't pay their bills? Well, the U.S. economy is clearly moving into uncertain territory. That's why more Christians are turning to gold just for their peace of mind. I'm Lance Wallnow, Christian news analyst with a 30-year track record of predicting trends. The Bible tells us that gold is a time-tested store of value that can protect your God-given assets through almost anything, including America's historic debt bubble. And here's the good news. You can own gold through your 401k or IRA. My friends at Birch Gold Group can help you buy gold for your retirement account, tax-free and penalty-free. To learn more, text the word FAITH to 989898 for an info kit from Birch Gold that's entirely free, zero cost or obligation. Text that next step right now and take it. Text FAITH to the number 989898 for your free info kit. That's FAITH to 989898.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bell's cleaning service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
Hey guys, are you looking for a professional and reliable tree service company in the Montgomery and surrounding areas? Well, check out the folks at Tree Masters. It's a name you know and trust. From pruning to full tree removal, they'll even help you remove your shrubs. They service all of central Alabama, including Lake Martin and Lake Jordan. Call them for a free quote today at 334-676-3638. That's 334-676-3638. Tree Masters.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdis. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather. Hi, everybody. The coolest air of the season is settling in, but this Canadian cool down will be relatively short. Sunshine today, but a cooler day, breezy, high 74. Clear, colder tonight, overnight low in the mid-40s by tomorrow morning. Wednesday, highs only in the 60s. I've got us around 67 Wednesday, 69 on Thursday with more sun. The coldest morning will be Thursday morning. We'll be getting close to the 40-degree mark, and then look for a weekend rebound. I think the high temperature by Saturday and Sunday will be getting close to 80 and still dry. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Exciting times at Capital Tractor, your hometown Kubota dealer. John Bobo here. Construction is almost complete on our new Montgomery location, but until then, our moving sale continues with great Kubota deals. Don't miss it. Capital Tractor, Montgomery and Brundage.
1819 News.
The Alabama Board of Education has approved the raising of reading scores that are necessary for a third grader to move into fourth grade. The reading test scores in 2023 of all Alabama third graders resulted in 9% of those third graders not passing and moving on to the next grade. Education Board member Jackie Ziegler spoke with WBRC News about this decision, saying the Education Department wants to increase the passing score from 435 to 444 in order to continue the trend of improving literacy among third graders. The new scoring standard will be in place for the next 2 years before any further increases are made. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
On November 15th, you can have dinner with Eric Metaxas right here in Alabama. Metaxas, the author of Bonhoeffer and Letter to the American Church, will keynote 1819 News' first annual Albert Patterson Gala on November 15th at the Barber Motorsports Event Center in Birmingham. To learn more and sponsor a table, visit 1819news.com/gala. Again, that's Eric Metaxas on November 15th. Go to 1819news.com/gala to learn more.
The father of a University of Alabama baseball player who died suddenly is now speaking out against the COVID-19 vaccine. DJ Heller believes that his son, Davis Heller, died from a cardiac episode in 2022 due to the effects of the COVID-19 vaccine on his heart. Davis Heller had a medical exemption from the vaccine due to the fact he had pericarditis back in high school. His father says the Alabama baseball coach has made it difficult for his son to be fully engaged in the team activities without first taking the shot. His son eventually relented and died 9 months later. Davis Heller's heart was doubled in size and severely damaged. DJ Heller tells 1819 News that he's not out for a lawsuit or money since neither will bring his son back, but simply to raise awareness. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
No one wants to wait on service for an overhead door. With 20 years in the industry, you now have access to the best with All Access Overhead Door. All Access Overhead Doors offers prompt professional service at affordable prices on all service and new garage doors for residential and commercial locations. All Access Overhead Door serves the river region and can take care of whatever you need when it comes to your overhead door. Remember, you have access to the best. All Access Overhead Door. Call and schedule an appointment today. 320-2440. And like them on Facebook. They sell the best in service the rest.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final hour of the program here on only a Tuesday. But it's a nice Tuesday, man. When I got out of the house early this morning, it was cold.
It was chilly.
I liked it.
Got a little flannel on.
Yeah, I like it. I like that we're getting a taste of fall.
Yeah, I think this might be the real one this time.
Mm-hmm.
They said it might be the faux fall. Again.
Another faux fall?
Yeah.
I'm going to fall victim again to another faux fall.
Well, faux fall thumb?
Feels that way.
Let's go to Armando. Hello, Armando.
Hello. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
I had a quick question real quick.
Okay.
Let's see. When was this? Sometime, maybe a week and a half ago, I was listening to your morning show, and I answered a question. I was just trying to figure out, I was supposed to go down there and pick up a prize?
Yeah, the 4101 Wall Street, and it should be ready if you want it about a week ago.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just checking. What time do you guys close?
I think at 5.
Yeah, I think Jay's done at 5.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
But the party goes
We
on
need to hire
forever.
a call screener, not just a dude to answer the phone. Just put that out there.
Times are tight, Eddie. Times are tight.
Let's start with me today. I've been nice to you today.
Kind of.
No, this is me being nice.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you. I'm not arguing with you at all. I am ripe for the plucking today.
Let's go to Bob. Hey, Bob.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
How you doing,
Bob?
I'm all right. Listen, I heard the best, most informative lesson talk by a minister on why this is the last of the last days. That this is just on the end of winding all of it up. He was using mostly scripture, and he went into everything from AI to, in the Old Testament, it talks about sacrificing in the temple with a red heifer. And they said that this guy knows all about Israel. He's been over there, seen everything going on practically, but he said the red heifer has to be perfect, and they sent 5 heifers from Texas in 22 to Israel, and one of them died, and 3 of them, let's see, there were 5, 1 died, 3 wouldn't qualify because they weren't perfect, and they have 1 heifer left that's perfect without blemish, and this is supposed to be sacrificed in the new temple when the temple is rebuilt before, when Christ is going to come back. But anyway, he was talking about the fact that Israel has just about got to bomb Iran because Iran's already said they're going to nuke Israel when they can. And so then they said Russia says they're going to try to retaliate on us. And, I mean, he was talking all about all the other countries over there around Israel, how they had been at peace with them a few years back, and now they're against them. But one of the most amazing scriptures, though, that he had, and you can look it up, it's in Zechariah 12:2. Zechariah 12:2, where it talks about all these countries surrounding Israel, and that God will prevail, on Israel. I don't think anything will ever from now on destroy Israel. I think God is going to protect it for eternity now. But, they are suffering a lot, and they're going to suffer a lot more. And he even pointed out the reason they attacked on the way that on the day that they did, because it has a religious significance, and he pointed out, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was amazing. Look it up, that Zechariah 12:2, though, Joey.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
And, yeah, y'all have a great day, guys.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, sir.
Happy end times. I don't believe.
What's the mark of the beast?
I don't.
Digital currency, space rockets.
I thought it was that chick I saw Joey with this weekend.
She herself was the embodiment of the mark of the beast.
She's pretty bad, bro. She's pretty bad.
Where did you see me this weekend?
Somebody sent me a picture of you in the wild, out in the wild.
Where?
Wait, you mean bad in a good way?
Okay,
Wait, no. I want you to continue your story so I can point out what a crock of crap it is.
Well, if I can produce the video, you'll just say it's fake. So,
no, go ahead, produce it.
I don't have it right on me. Give me tomorrow. I'll have it.
Thought it was a photo.
It can be a video or a photo. You can
It was
sing if you want me
no,
to.
I'm saying yes and keep telling the story. Where was I?
Yes, and you were at a bar that I didn't think you belonged in on the west side of town.
On the west side of town?
Yeah. I thought it was that girl Dukes always accuses you of being with. But
Moo.
Yeah, but apparently it was. It was not. Apparently her name was something along the lines of Tiffany or something like that.
Tiffany?
With an I?
Of course.
Than that, Joe.
Of course, with an I. But anyway, you could have done better, bro. You could have done better.
That's weak. Weight room. If you're going to make up stories about me, they need to be more fantastical.
I'll have the
than
video
that.
tomorrow.
Okay, go ahead. Just use your AI and
I don't even
generate
I
it.
don't have AI. I barely got a cell phone.
Right, sure. Right. Oh, by the way, I saw driving in another tumbleweave.
Did you?
Yeah. I'm like, how do you lose the hair off your head?
I've seen some of the fights. That's how. That's how.
Like
Joe.
maybe a convertible?
No, I don't really think I think they're smart enough
Like if
to know
it's not
you're wearing a weave,
secured,
you're not-
yeah, like
I'm telling you, I've seen some of the fights, and those women go for the weave first. That's the first draw.
no, it was on Carmichael Road. And I'm like, that's not how do you lose the hair off your head?
This is a peaceful road we're talking about here.
That's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
What's
plus,
another-
how fast can you run before you lose it?
Right. Well, and I kind of say I don't really believe these are the end times, and then you see something like that, and you're like, well, have you seen the hotels and motels down the road? Maybe we are. Maybe we are.
Or we might be working on getting that population back up.
If there were only incentives, the right incentives would do that.
272-9228. Now, I find the looking for the symbols and like reading the signs that these are the end times. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe.
Every generation's been living in the end times, man.
But if I
All
go
set.
constantly looking for something, I'm gonna find some things. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I will die; it's that the world will end.
Yeah. Oh wait.
Crap, I'm still alive.
Right.
272-9228. Anyway, moving on from that, there's a video that's been making the rounds on kind of like, say, Trump-friendly websites.
Oh, yeah?
And this is the New York Court of Appeals. And it has to do with that criminal case against Trump. They're like the accounting thing.
Yeah.
Like somehow he was running the accounting with the hush money and all this
sure,
stuff
that's
like
exactly
that.
what he does.
Yeah.
Right. But here is the New York Court of Appeals. No one in mainstream media is writing about this hearing. The video needs to go viral, they say. So let's do our part.
Question of mission creep. Has 6312 morphed into something that it was not meant to do?
All the defendants repeatedly
Ms.
violated.
Vale, can you identify any previous case
I like the music.
in which the Attorney General sued under Executive Law 6312?
Yeah, this is reminding me of drinking box wine and watching crime TV.
Yeah, I see.
To upset a private business transaction that was between equally sophisticated partners.
And it was using.
I'm sorry, but what's being described sounds an awful lot like a potential commercial dispute between private actors.
I mean, you've got two really sophisticated parties in which no one lost any money. The case that you cite involved where there was damage to consumers, damage to the marketplace. You've got a scheme to get unsophisticated consumers to take out home loans. You got a collapse of Lehman Brothers. You don't have anything like that here.
And that's something you must address because there has to be some limitation on what the Attorney General can do in interfering in these private.
Okay, from just hearing this, I don't think it's the criminal case. I think it's the civil case brought by Letitia James. But yeah, I mean, it is nonsense on stilts. The banks said we made money.
Where is your victim?
Of course they made money.
Yeah.
Was it an illegal scheme? No? Okay, then where's your victim? Oh, you have none? Then what are we doing?
Wait, are we still talking about the banks making money?
They're going to make their money, baby.
Well, yeah, we're the victims.
Yeah, we are.
No, they're going to make their money one way or the other. That's for certain. One way or the other, they're getting there.
You remember back in the good old days where banks were really worried about going out of business?
No.
Exactly.
I'm not that old.
Exactly. None of us are.
I think you had to have a six-shooter and live in a town that really actually had tumbleweeds.
Yeah.
The train came on 310 or something.
That's right. 310 to Yuma, baby.
Now, I'm moving away from politics because I'm just tired of it for the moment.
You're here.
New secret tomb found in the ancient city of Petra contains the remains of at least 12 humans in a quote-unquote Holy Grail cup.
I read this yesterday.
In the 1989 film Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, man, Sean Connery's actually he's a little long in the tooth, but he's pretty good in that one. Yeah. The Temple of the Sun is the stunning Middle Eastern shrine that houses the Holy Grail. Now, in a case of history imitating art, human remains in a Holy Grail cup have been found under the real-life filming location. Huh.
That's weird.
Experts conducted excavations at Al-Khazneh, also known as the Treasury, an elaborate rock-cut tomb carved out of sandstone face, a rock face in Petra, Jordan. They found a previously unknown tomb containing 12 skeletal remains and grave goods, including a grail-shaped cup remarkably similar to the one in the movie. What? Experts hope analysis of the human remains could reveal more about the ancient peoples of the area. Wait, so you're saying the same place they shot the movie, they found actual, like, a grail cup?
Did somebody leave some...
Yeah, okay. Now I'm looking
something.
at it like a ceramic chalice. That's not the same
Not the
thing
same with the
that
big
Indy's
jewels around
holding
it.
right there to bring his dad back. Not the same thing.
But does it surprise you they went and dug underneath a building that's an old building and they
Right.
found some older stuff? Shocking. They went in the basement?
And there was a cup? What? You mean people were drinking beverages?
Can't believe that.
Excavations were led by Dr. Pierce Paul Kreisman, Executive Director of the American Center of Research, along with Josh Gates, host of the Discovery Channel. So it's got to be legit. Gates, who presents an episode of his show Expedition Unknown from Petra,
I have seen this.
called it a hugely rare discovery. In the 2 centuries that Petra has been investigated by archaeologists, nothing like this has been found before, Gates told CNN. Even in front of one of the most famous buildings in the world, there are still huge discoveries to be made. It's kind of cool.
I guess.
PR stunt?
Maybe. Or maybe it's a big deal. They found more stuff. But, you know, war's about to break out and the world's about to end, so who cares? Who cares?
Not the scientists. They're too
I don't
busy
know.
digging in dirt.
It was pretty cool. Even when I was young and like we went to Ephesus and places like that, it was kind of cool to get caught up in the moment, thinking that you're walking the same road that somebody walked hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago.
See, but the guys who made this discovery, this latest excavation, none of them are as cool as Indiana Jones. It's a lie.
Are they all nerds?
Yeah, they're all nerds. Like,
I
whatever happened to, like, the hunky professor?
Yeah, guy that was actually doing some of the digging.
Like, Moonlight's actually, you know, stealing stuff from tombs.
Oh, I've got a feeling that's happening now, Joe.
Like, Hollywood's full of crap.
It sounds like somebody's department might be low on funding.
Think you're onto something
Might
there.
be there, buddy.
Really do think you're onto something there. In other news, and I mean, this is real happy news. Meet Ann Kelly Skinner, a man pretending to be a woman who was awarded a Guinness World Record for being the fastest female marathon roller skater.
So he's just an average male roller
right,
skater?
exactly.
Okay. Gotcha.
Ugh. Really? But also, the record is for marathon roller. What is a marathon roller skater?
How long are you roller skating, right?
Like, it's got to be like 24 miles or something?
I don't know, but I found an event that we can all participate in. This is a real thing. You drink a beer, you run a lap, you drink a beer, you run a lap, and whoever can go the longest wins.
All right. Can we get a lap runner? I can drink all the beer in the world. It's the lap running and I'm
it
out.
doesn't matter how quickly you run the lap. It's just that you keep going. You're sweating out water anyway.
Well, we used to play beer baseball like this. It never went more than 3 innings.
Some of the guys who
Beer
were,
baseball.
well, some of the guys who were up for the gold medal at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of funny watching them.
I
run.
bet. Yeah, we never could make it more than 3 innings.
What were the rules exactly?
Every time you passed the base, you had to drink a beer.
Like a whole one right there. You had to like shotgun it or chug it.
Like a solo cup, but they weren't solo cups. Yeah,
It's easier to chug out of a solo cup
Yeah, it's
than
about
a
a half
can
a beer each
or a
base.
bottle for sure.
If we made it 3 innings, it was because we quit because somebody got beamed with the ball. They didn't.
You can get, like, if you drink beer fast enough, it
Oh,
can
yeah.
do a number on you.
Oh, yeah.
Depends on what kind.
True. That's also.
I mean, I'm
very
pretty
true.
certain.
OE 800, baby. We
Most
kept
of
it
our
real.
male listening audience and probably a lot of our female listening audience could drink Bud Light all day and be perfectly fine.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Just looking for some of the latest with this economic forum that Trump set in.
Apparently
The
he was-
Economic Club of Chicago.
Asked some pretty challenging questions. Which
So here's a little snippet of it, about a minute of it.
And yes, you're going to find some people who will gain from individual tariffs. The overall effect could be
massive.
I
in terms of the
agree.
economy.
I agree. It's going to have a massive effect, positive effect. It's going to be a positive, not a negative.
Well, just
let me just let me.
Give me an
I know
example.
how committed you are to this, and it must.
The guy talking to him is editor-in-chief of Bloomberg, John Micklethwaite.
What a name.
Be hard for you to spend 25 years talking about tariffs as being negative and then have somebody explain to you that you're totally wrong. It'll have a negative. It will have. I'll go a step further.
40
if
million,
you don't
40
do
million,
this,
President
this
Trump,
country
40
has
million,
no
40
chance.
million jobs is a lot of jobs to rely on.
They're
trade.
all coming back.
Those are
You've
40 million
lost.
jobs. Those are 40 million jobs in America that rely on trade.
Are you ready? John Deere, great company. They announced about a year ago they're going to build big plants outside of the United States, right? They're going to build them in Mexico.
And you threaten
They're
them with
also going
tariffs
to build.
and they stop.
That's right. I said, if John Deere builds those plants and not selling anything into the United States, they just announced yesterday they're probably not going to build the plants, okay? I kept the jobs here.
Man, Trump get a little feisty there.
I was going to comment. He is dialed in, man.
Yeah.
He has got his eye on the prize.
I believe you're right.
And I think this is kind of going to dovetail into point number 3 on that list that I told you the Democrats may try to get into.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to make lemonade out of lemons here on this whole immigration thing and saying that the people deported would collapse the economy and those jobs would just be vacant. They're grasping at straws.
Yeah.
Now, I have been saying, like, if you want to raise the tariffs, like, get rid of the income tax. Yeah, let's go back to, if you want most of the money coming into the federal government through tariffs, which is a tax, do it. Okay, get rid of the income tax.
You got a guy
Just
that
get that
can
off
actually
back.
do that now, as opposed to anybody
Hey,
prepared
dumb question. When's the last time an academic or you've ever seen a chart on a congressional hearing or anything that had the Laffer curve actually like balanced on where our tax revenue is and whatnot?
No, I haven't.
Never.
Seen
Okay. I wonder how skewed it is.
Well, and also the government tends to take in around the same percentage of GDP, no matter what we do fiddling with the tax system. It's
I didn't
a
realize that.
fascinating thing. Now, maybe it's changed in the last
you
year
or
or
me
two.
more, but it doesn't really move the needle.
Yeah, it's around 18% of GDP. It's about, they fiddle with the tax credits and deductions and rates on top earners and stuff. And but it's always kind of about the same amount of money.
Interesting. Yeah.
But here, this same guy, at least Trump is sitting down, knowing he's probably sitting down with somebody who disagrees with him.
Oh, sure. He did know that, for sure.
This same guy made this announcement as him and Trump were about to speak.
The first is just for the record and for those people watching on television. The Economic Club of Chicago and Bloomberg both invited Vice President Harris to a similar interview about her economic plans that she has declined so far. Why should they trust you with that?
Because we're about growth. She's got no growth whatsoever, and we're all about growth. We're going to bring companies back to our country. You look at even today, as I was driving over, I see these empty, old, beautiful, like steel mills and factories that are empty and falling down. Some have been converted to senior citizens' homes, but that's not going to do the trick. And we're going to bring the companies back. We're going to lower taxes still further for companies that are going to make their product in the USA. We're going to protect those companies with strong tariffs, because I'm a believer in tariffs. I'm not sure that you are. I don't think you are, but I congratulate you on your career. But
there you go, buddy.
That first part, well, we reached out to Kamala Harris, but she declined.
I may have answered my own question, or the internet did.
Mm-hmm.
Reagan.
Reagan.
It was only developed in 74. I thought it was older than that.
Yeah, Art Laffer. Right.
I thought it was like 50s.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, they're ready to help you fellas out, especially if you're feeling down in the dumps. And I mean, like, generally, like, every day is a struggle. Like, you feel like you're walking through your life in a fog. You have no energy, motivation, or drive, including no sex drive to speak of. You're seeing a loss of muscle mass, somewhat weight gain. It's not like you changed your workout habits. It's not like you changed your diet, yet you're seeing this all the same. Well, knowing whether or not you have low testosterone is huge in combating some of these issues. And the providers there at Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, the good news is they have low-T treatments that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism. You usually even notice an increased libido. And you can actually book the same day that you call. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. Let's hit a break. We'll come back and round this thing out. About 30 minutes left in the show.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better Business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. Here are the 5 steps you'll have to take to buy a home in this market. First, it's so important to get pre-qualified through a local lender because to get an offer accepted, you will have to have a written pre-approval letter submitted with your offer. Second, it's critical that you have identified the 3 most important must-haves with a house, including the location where you want to live. Third, always hire a professional buyer's agent that will represent your best interest and to be looking out for your interests, not the seller's interests, through the transaction, working on your behalf all the way to the closing. Fourth, hire the best home inspector you can find. Let him identify the issues with the home. Let your agent negotiate on your behalf for needed repairs. Fifth, close with a top-notch closing attorney's office that will examine the title, provide you with title insurance, and give you good title in the future. For a complete list of buyer agent services, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group, 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, in stock specials on waterproof 20 mil wear layer luxury vinyl plank and blowout prices. H&H Carpets for all your flooring needs.
Well, hi, everybody. This Canadian cool down will keep us well below normal at night for at least the next 3 nights. Tonight, clear skies, a little breezy with the overnight low temperature down to about 45 by morning. Tomorrow's high only in the 60s, around 67 tomorrow, as a matter of fact, 69 on Thursday with more sun. The coldest morning will be Thursday morning. I think we'll be scraping near 40. But the chill does not last, and we start to warm up by the weekend with high temperatures Saturday and Sunday getting close to 80. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has a long history of stability and a legacy of serving our community's needs for generations since we began in 1906. At CB&S Bank, we're here for you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice, News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Welcome back. So we were just talking off mic. New Gallup information out. New Gallup poll showing 42% of Americans now identify as independent.
Oh, interesting.
That's remarkable.
Yeah.
Absolutely remarkable. And there's a lot of new polls dropping, apparently, and in particular, Senate polls. In Montana, is it she? She. 50 to 42 against the incumbent John Tester. In Ohio, Marino.
Not Dan.
No. 45-43. Now, again, this is polling for the Senate Republican folks. This might be...
I don't think they're including a lot of the fringe candidates in those.
Well, Wisconsin has Hovde up by 1 point against Baldwin. Hovde. Arizona Senate has Kerry Lake down 4 points.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Arizona president has Trump up 49 to 47. It looks like it's 44 to 43 for the Democrat against the Republican in Pennsylvania. Nevada, the Democrat incumbent, Senator Rosen, seems to be in a good position, up 5 points. In Michigan, it's a dead heat between Slotkin and Mike Rogers. Wouldn't mind if he kind of lost that.
Come on, Joey, be a team player, man.
Yeah, Mr. I want to spy on everybody.
You are being a team player. That red, white, and blue team.
Exactly.
Yeah. But, I mean, that I think is going to be just as important as winning the White House.
Oh, yeah, you got to be able to get things done.
And I do wonder, do the Republicans hold on to a majority in the House?
I don't think they do. I think Dems take the House, and Republicans keep the Senate. We take the presidency.
Yeah, I think it's fair. That's fair. I mean, what do you think, Eddie?
I was hoping we'd take all three, but I definitely feel comfortable in the presidency. I do think I don't understand it, but I don't like Arizona. I don't understand how Kerry's not getting that. What I missed, I thought she's a solid candidate.
The other day I saw someone ask her about it was either January 6th or something that was associated with the farther right side of the Republican Party. And her response was, "Can we talk about water?"
Let's see. Well, that's disturbing.
Now, speaking of something I mentioned at the beginning of the show, CBS, Margaret Brennan, they were caught in another editing job.
Yep.
This is actually directly from Speaker Mike Johnson saying on Twitter, on X, "I recently traveled to North Carolina and victims of Hurricane Helene told me nearly 2 weeks after landfall, the Biden-Harris administration has still not provided them with any or all the resources they desperately need. But CBS selectively edited out entirely this firsthand perspective." And here's the tail of the tape. Let's listen in.
So that's a different
This is what aired on CBS first.
accounting than this 2% you say was distributed.
Yeah, so they've obligated some funds, but they've only distributed 2%. The rescue and recovery effort's still going on, and then we address the rest of it.
So that's a different accounting than this 2%
This
you
is what the full answer actually was.
say was distributed.
Yeah, so they've obligated some percent, and when I was there on the ground, and you should go, I mean, bring the cameras and talk to the people there. They'll tell you, don't take politicians' words for this or the administration's word. Talk to the people there on the ground. They had not been provided the resources almost 2 weeks out from the storm that they desperately needed. And when I was there, 13 days post the storm hitting that state, people are still being rescued. They're stuck in the higher elevations in the mountains because the roads are down and all the rest. So they need every available resource and all hands on deck. The rescue and recovery effort's still going on, and then we address the rest of it.
So what you're hearing on that second answer, folks, is apparently Mike Johnson's staff were filming him as he's doing the hit.
Gotta have to now, right?
Always
had.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That is amazing to me.
I got to see. This is what aired on CBS.
So that's a different accounting than this 2% you say was distributed.
Yeah, so they've obligated some funds, but they've only distributed 2%. The rescue and recovery effort's still going on, and then we address the rest of it.
So that's a different accounting than this 2% you say was distributed.
Yeah, so they've obligated some funds, but they've only distributed 2%. And when I was there on the ground, and you should go, I mean, bring the cameras and talk to the people.
Wow,
there.
they took out. That is a hatchet job.
Have they had a response? Any kind of response to being called out on this? Or do they even respond?
Time constraints.
Yeah, right.
Wow. Truth constraints. I mean, time constraints.
No, and there was another instance of it. Apparently, CBS also doesn't want you to hear about Virginia Governor Youngkin, who is trying to clean the state's voter rolls so non-American citizens can't vote there. So again, here's what aired on CBS.
You know that it is against the law for non-citizens to vote in federal elections. That's established law.
Of course it is. Of course it is. But here's the problem. There's a number of states that are not requiring proof of citizenship when illegals or non-citizens register to vote. We know that's happening.
But respectfully, Speaker,
everybody should want the law to be followed.
You know that it is against the law.
Now here's the full answer.
Non-citizens to vote in federal elections. That's established law.
Of course it is. Of course it is. But here's the problem. There's a number of states that are not requiring proof of citizenship when illegals or non-citizens register to vote. We know that's happening. Look, Glenn Youngkin in Virginia, I was going to say, he issued an executive order to clean up their voting rolls heading into the election. Less than 30 days out, a couple of days ago, the Biden administration, Department of Justice, Biden-Harris administration, sued the governor and the Commonwealth of Virginia to try to prevent them from cleaning up their voter rolls. See, that kind of thing creates a lot of doubt and concern in the minds of a lot of the American people. Why would they do that?
Here's what she's not being honest about.
Yeah.
Say you're here illegally and nice little college student gives you this form, register to vote. If you see that it says, check here to make sure you're a U.S. citizen to fill out this application.
Yeah.
If that's not there, you're more likely to fill it out, even though you're not supposed to vote. So they're going to make the roll.
But that's also assuming they speak English.
But you miss them.
And write English.
You may be missing what I'm saying here. Like, they're going to get more people to
I
fill
get
that out, right?
But it's deceitful from the get-go.
That's
well, and also it's one of these things where it's illegal for non-citizens to vote in federal elections. And it's like, okay, what's the enforcement mechanism?
Why not? If it's illegal to do that, why not do something very easy, common sense? Just put it on the initial document. Yes, I'm a citizen. Check here. And if you can't check there, you don't get to fill it out.
Well, and then the question is how many folks are doing that? And it's the honor system.
Right.
Well, it depends on if you're in a red state or a blue state.
Exactly. If Joey is El Jose from Mexico and I pull for the Dems, well, Joey, I need you to fill this form out. I don't even read English yet. Just check here, and then sign right there. And you're good to go.
I mean, to be fair, when I first learned about this 8 years ago, I didn't believe it. Like, a candidate that I had, Secretary of State in Georgia, he was like, I'm going to make this a campaign issue. I was like, yeah, but it's already illegal. We had the same argument. He was like, yeah, but it's not on the ballot. I was like, it's got to be. And he's like, here's Georgia's for the state. Here's Georgia for the Fed. Georgia for the state. Check here, U.S. citizen. Over here for the federal, nope.
And then the fight our own Secretary of State has been having is like, you can have that check here box, but he would like the power, and not just him, a lot of secretaries of state around the nation would like the power to actually, look into that, be able to cross-check that with immigration data. And no, that's not allowed.
How
no
is that not
cooperation.
allowed? Some of those, states want to actually have some sort of system set up where you can check other states' rolls to make sure people aren't registered in multiple states, and that's been kind of poo-pooed on.
Well, and when you talk about, do you trust an election? I wrote an op-ed about this about 2-3 weeks ago. When you're asking people, do you trust an election? When people say yes or no, they might mean different things. For instance, Democrats right now are very sensitive to, and they ask J.D. Vance and Trump this almost every time, what if the peaceful transfer of power? Are you going to accept the election, or are you going to fight if you lose, or something like that? But then the other more legacy concern to Democrats are elections open, in the sense that, like, you aren't having the vote blocked, like, we're back in the Jim Crow days. And it's ever since that time, I think the legal status quo has leaned more towards openness. But there's the other question of honesty. How honest are the elections, which have much more to do with, are the folks say on the voter rolls actually citizens? Are you actually qualified to vote? And of course, these two concerns kind of butt heads with one another. And right now, for the longest time, especially with the laws coming from the federal level, it is imbalance towards openness. And any attempt by a state to create more honesty or integrity will be met by a lawsuit by the DOJ.
Yes, 100%.
And even when the DOJ, they, I think, have West Allen on a legal technicality. Like, you change your voter rolls within the
30 days or
80-day
days,
period
whatever it
or
was.
something like that.
They're strict on that.
Yes.
And they daggone well
But
mean
it seems to be ridiculous that you're cleaning up your voter rolls. You're proving that you're taking illegals off your voter rolls, but the DOJ is forcing you to keep them on there.
If you do it after a certain amount of time or before an election.
So it's okay to break the law as long as it's after this date.
Well,
I mean, that's where we're going with.
They would probably say that's not what they're addressing. They're addressing your action.
I understand, but
I'm not saying
common
it's right.
sense law. I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's just frustrating with the border situation we have going on today. I mean, and like Joey said, they're leaning towards the openness. They're leaning towards the cheat.
Here in Alabama, a few elections ago, saw something posted about a drop box in Birmingham. Called down here to Montgomery, got the answer I was expecting. That's not allowed.
Right.
You know, Zuckerberg's, all that sort of stuff got banned. They made a call up to Birmingham to inquire about it. By the time they made the call, that information was removed, and you know, no one was acting like anything had ever happened. And apparently, the website was not scrubbed from like 8 years ago.
Right. It was again with the accidental and coincidental,
yeah.
and we didn't mean to. You at what point do we just start saying you're a liar? We know you're a liar, and we're putting you on fire.
I don't even think it matters if they're lying. It's just a matter of whether or not it happened or not. It's called accountability.
No,
We got to hit a break here soon, but first, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and their Pest Pro Ashley and her team are ready to help you with any and all of your pest control needs. Could be a one-time job you need as you're getting the house ready, but you know, with the changing of the seasons,
oh yeah,
those little critters that seem to be happy outside are going to try to find a warm place inside your home. They don't belong there. You don't want that. No. Why not call up Pest Pro Services? Make them your everyday pest control company through the changing of the seasons. And they'll make sure your home's jam up and jelly tight, as the song says. They're really great folks, not only skilled professionals there at Pest Pro Services, but your neighbors, great local folks that you can trust. And they've been growing leaps and bounds because they're just that good there. Ashley's put together an amazing operation. So check them out today. You can always call them at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and team that Joey and Eddie, and throw in Byron for bonus points. Tell them the folks on the radio sent you. Now, real quick, I was like, what did J.D. Vance do like in the last few days? Where was J.D. Vance? Well, this is right outside of the police department that was burned down in Minneapolis.
Okay.
And here's what J.D. had to say.
First, I just want to say a little bit about what this building behind us represents. You can see it's all boarded up. This is, of course, the headquarters of the 3rd Precinct, which was burned down. Burned out, I should say, thanks to Tim Walz's completely failed leadership. And, you know, talking to these folks behind me, I mean, these are law enforcement officers. A lot of them were here, some of them for many days when this was allowed to happen. And remember, during those riots, these guys were given up for dead. Their police chief told them to stand down, hoping that it would save their lives. A couple of them just told me just now their fear that they would be killed by the violent mob that was attacking this precinct. And the important question is, what were their leaders, in particular, what was Governor Tim Walz doing to keep these officers safe and to bring order to the city of Minneapolis? The answer was absolutely nothing. They described being left for dead by the person who wants to be the Vice President of the United States. And to all the folks who are watching this, I think the message is very simple. That do we want a kind of leader who stands with the law enforcement, who fights for them, who protects their lives as they go about keeping us safe? Or do we want someone who encourages rioters and looters to burn down this precinct, who leaves the officers for dead, and then a president who then bails out some of those same rioters and looters out of prison?
Man, I'll tell you what, this guy is one of the more effective people, especially in this younger generation rising up. He can be, you know, very easy to talk to, kind of casual, great setting. I saw one interview where he had his German Shepherd at his feet and all this stuff. He can, on that debate stage, he's like magnanimous and like really getting to know people, and then he can torch people. Like we just saw there. I watched that 40-minute or so like New York Times podcast.
Yeah.
And Lulu, I think the first name of the reporter, doing the interview with Vance. And I'm sitting there watching this, and it's fine. JD holds his own. But the first, 20 minutes, it's like, who's the real JD Vance? All these people. I wanted him to pull a Polyev or whatever that guy is in Canada. Which people? Which people are saying this? Wait, the folks that are never, ever interested in voting for me? But I'm sitting there watching it going, seeing JD Vance and Lulu, and I'm like, okay, you're both Catholic, but you come across as like you don't even live in the same frickin' country.
Yeah.
Like the perspective, it's different universes. And it's really remarkable how I would say it's still effective to a degree, but that New York Times sort of prestige, we're better than you, we have the facts, of course. Yeah, it's good to see it waning in its power and prestige.
I will say, I was too hard on him up front.
Yeah.
He has grown on me a lot. And I can't remember what interview it was, but I was like, oh man, that was a masterclass on how to, take somebody down.
He's, and I'm still think about all the folks at Fox News. I don't necessarily mean people on the screen. I mean, executives there, you should have picked Nikki Haley. And it's no.
He's comfortable, man.
Yeah.
He is.
He's very comfortable.
He's authentic, as far as I can tell. And that whole likable, lovable, he's your grandfather from Minnesota.
No, he's a weirdo.
It just ain't working.
No, he's a weirdo down the street that somebody needs to be watching.
Folks, this part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dylan Rings. We told you a little earlier about the tourmaline.
Yes.
It's the other birthstone there in October. Different shades of pink. Has like many gemstones, a grand history, and it's absolutely beautiful. If you want to check out a sample of the tourmaline gem, just go to Facebook and type in Dylan Rings, Dylan Rings. Absolutely beautiful birthstone. And of course, don't forget, they're a full-service jewelry shop, but they got a big event coming up called Diamonds and Pearls.
That's right.
I listened to the long version the other day with the big guitar solo.
Lucky you.
Good stuff. And you can listen to it too. It's available to stream.
Man, that's good.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But that's the name of their Ladies' Night event coming up at Dylan Rings on November the 7th. Get there early. Put this on your calendar right now because they're going to have very special discounts that night only on all sorts of items. Of course, there's some delicious catering. Last year when we went, that food was so good. And just, again, amazing deals. You'll get to meet some folks. It's fun. And they have a limited number of gift bags when you walk in. So it's first come, first serve in terms of the food and the gift bags. And, of course, all these amazing discounts. And with being a full-service jewelry shop, not only is it an amazing selection, they can do anything for you across the board, from appraisals to repairs to spa treatments. They do it all. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie Ryder that Joey and Eddie and Byron, those fellows on the radio, sent you when you stop by 119 Brown Springs Road right here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway. I tend to remember it's where the old Fun Zone kind of used to be.
That's right.
I miss those days sometimes.
At times, Joey.
We'll be back.
News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now. Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones. We didn't get to talk to him yesterday, but he's here today. Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray.
Well, I'm sorry about yesterday. I was moving the couch when you called.
Oh, you're good, buddy. Better you move it than me.
Yeah, we sold our place in LJ and I had to go get some of the stuff out of there.
Gotcha.
Yesterday was not, I was dreading that weeks. Sometimes you just got to go do what you got to do. And then today's even worse. It looks like we have to put one of our cats down.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
Oh, it's not me. I'm fine.
I know.
It's Taylor.
What you got to deal with on the backside.
So I had to go home just now and have a long talk with her. And she's 16, and I'm like, here it is, baby. It's your cat. It's your decision. But if you're a good cat, if you're good owning pets, you get them when they're babies and you love them through their life, but the end is hard.
Yeah.
But my view on it is this about you or the animal?
Yep.
If it's about your pet and you really love it, sometimes you got to say goodbye because you can't let them suffer.
Right.
So yeah, we had to have that talk today. That's worse than the birds and the bee talk.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. That's a hard pill to swallow. So it looks like tomorrow we're going to be having to, do that. That's not going to be a fun day tomorrow. But I'm still selling floors, and we need some help to make me a little bit more cheerful. Would you please call 285-8117 if you need a floor?
That's 285-8117, folks.
And we'll be glad to come out. Y'all keep saying your prayers tonight and tomorrow because it's going to be a hard couple of days.
Yep,
absolutely.
Appreciate it, Ray.
Hey, we love you guys.
Love you too, Ray. See you, brother.
Yeah, that is rough. Hate that. Yep. Anyway, did we learn anything today?
I feel like I learned a lot, but I felt like I was cramming for a test.
Yeah, that too. I felt a little out of sorts today. Like, I don't know what happened to my sorts.
I feel like this whenever, Tuesday with the judge, he's so high level.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you remember when you were in college and you thought you signed up for one class and you get in there and you realize like you're 3 or 4 classes too advanced and you're just sitting there and like, okay. That's whenever the judge comes on, I'm just sitting there real quiet taking notes.
Make it to you, make it, brother.
This is kind of my favorite thing to do is go take a class I had no business being in, but then be the actual person to ask questions.
Like shop?
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
It's
like you didn't even read or study. I'm like, yeah, but I think I got good questions.
Well,
like I'm a person, right?
You're not even registered for this
I paid tuition, right?
I pay your salary. You must answer my question. Good luck with that.
There's one professor who I just found so miserable. She always had this, and she was fun to argue with, but she had this very, thick mask. It's not literal makeup, but like she put on a front. It was tough to crack her. And I get her to laugh a few times, but there's one time I went to go talk to her at office hours, and she is laughing her tail off like a little schoolgirl speaking in Spanish to somebody. And I'm like,
mamacita.
Man. Yeah. So, love in Peru? Like, what is this? So it is good to see other sides of people. Anyway, that's a weird memory that pops back up out of nowhere.
She hot?
She did burn a memory into his head.
No, she wasn't like classically beautiful, but she was such a nerd that,
Yeah.
I liked her personality.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I know you do.
Well said.
Okay, Eddie Bader. How's the living situation going?
Shut up, man.
And on that note, we'll be back tomorrow. Greg Vidal is next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. GOP presidential nominee Donald Trump wants to impose an across-the-board tariff of either 10 or 20% on every import coming into the U.S. Also included among Mr. Trump's plans is a tariff of up to 60% on all Chinese imports in a bid to encourage American manufacturing. He spoke with Bloomberg News and the Economic Club of Chicago. Who do you trust? Trust in the mass media has hit a new low, according to Gallup. 1/3 of those surveyed have no trust at all in the media to report the news fully, accurately, and fairly. And another third of Americans express not very much confidence. On Wall Street, stocks remain lower, the Dow dropping 286 points, the Nasdaq Composite 211 in the red. This is SRN News.